Welcome into the Wednesday edition. It is Supernatural News, the very last one of 2022. That seems so weird to say. I'm Tim Dennis. Right across from me is the BCB, the big cuddly bear, the Beer City Bruiser himself. How you doing, Bruiser?
I'm exhausted, Tim.
I know,
so
buddy.
Exhausted, Cruiser.
But
I'm here back at home studio.
You made the ultimate sacrifice for us yesterday, and I appreciate that. No, you didn't enlist in any of the armed forces for us, but you did. You did it from an airport last night. We appreciate that.
Yeah, traveling over the holidays is never again.
yeah. That it was the perkic.
Huh?
Words is hard. The perfect storm of perfectly bad weather. During the busiest holiday of the year, you got the bomb cyclone going on with the bad weather and the snow and all that other stuff. And it seems like every airline out there was having difficulties, people calling in.
Yeah.
Everything was horrendous. And you, my friend, were right in the middle of it. And I think you and Mrs. Bruiser were probably two of a very few amount of people who were nice to anybody who was working behind the counter.
Mrs. Bruiser said that right off the bat. She said, no matter how stressed you get, it's not the person across the counter's fault. Yeah. So we're going to be nice to these people. We're going to thank them. We're going to, and I believe that.
Yeah.
She's right. And also, too, what I've learned from you, you put positive out, you get positive back.
That's true.
And we had delayed flights, but they weren't horrendously delayed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we kind of rolled with the punches and just having we're going to get where we're going safely. It's okay. And thanking the people. And you can see it really brightened their day, you know. So we did our best. And I get why people are upset. I get it. You're stressed out. You're tired. It's not fun sleeping in an airport. It's not fun sleeping on a plane, but you got to factor in you're not the only one going through it.
True. Very true.
One of our flights had 75 people on it that were supposed to make a connection. And since our plane was delayed, they weren't going to make their connection.
Oh.
And a majority of them actually were like, okay, we have to figure this out. And the airline stewardess, I don't know what they're called now, flight attendants. We're real nice and this is what you need to do. We'll get you all set up. Well, it turns out, and I firmly believe this, all those people were not angry because it's not the flight attendant's fault. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But because of that, they were able to make their connection because they held the plane for those people, because the pilot radioed ahead and says, hey, I got 75 people trying to make this connection. And they ended up all making the connection, which was great.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I think that's because, like you said, positive out, positive back. And I do not recommend traveling during the holidays with a storm and people calling off. And
no, and that's what is, it's so difficult though to time that and to predict that. And who would think that so close to the holiday that something so catastrophic like that would happen, that you'd have below zero temperatures or just barely above zero temperatures that would go all the way from the tip top of the northernmost part of Minnesota all the way down to the southernmost part of Texas, from the very western edge of the United States to the very most eastern part of the United States.
Yeah.
You can't predict that kind of stuff.
No, you can't. Did you hear the warning they gave in Florida because it was so cold?
I have relatives that live down in Florida, and boy, did I hear them bitch and complain all weekend.
they had to give a warning to watch out for falling iguanas, because iguanas go into hibernation below 30 degrees, and it got down below 30 degrees. So there was iguanas falling out of trees.
I had to hear about falling relatives all weekend. They were in such shock. They were just falling over, and it's so cold here. Well, how cold is cold? It's 40. It's 40? Yeah, it's cold.
Here in North Carolina, they were complaining because it got down to 11.
Oh, my God.
Mrs. Bruiser and I walk around with sweatshirts on. We're like, okay, well.
That's 11.
It's no snow.
Yeah, you're not suffering with snow. Here we were getting deluged, and it was 10, 20 below.
Yeah.
Papa
Bruiser was complaining because in Arizona there it got down to 60.
Oh my God.
And he was complaining. And I said, what are you talking about? This is great.
Yeah.
I got shorts on. I got I'm wearing sleeves. Normally I don't wear sleeves, but threw some sleeves on. I was good to go.
Yeah, you must have been in paradise, man.
Yeah. And there's Mama and Papa Bruiser putting sweatshirts on. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? We lived in Wisconsin my whole life.
But you had the bee's knees of weather there.
Yeah. Yeah, it was great that, the limited time we were in there. And then we get back here to North Carolina, the weather's great again, and it's 50 degrees. And
look at that.
Yeah.
I think today we're at 25. We got a heat wave going on in Minnesota.
Look at you. Are you gonna go out in the swim trunks and polar plunge?
I'm probably gonna pour antifreeze down the chippers' holes, I think, today. See if they're still alive. I know that's bad for animals. You shouldn't do that before I get all the angry
they're alive
emails.
After how much they hoarded those almonds and stuff from you over the summer.
Oh my God. I should own stock in Blue Diamond. Yeah, there's
you said Wicked alone was going hard, wasn't he?
Oh God, I think he has like 2 50-pound bags of almonds and black oil sunflower seeds down in his hovel alone. Yeah, we were wondering about that. We were sitting back during the holidays and talking about, because we had 2 stockings and then we had 3 stockings for the chippers, and no, we didn't fill them full of seeds. But we were thinking about that as cold as it gets. I mean, I know there's snow cover to insulate.
Yeah.
But you think about when it actually gets to like 10, 20 below outside, and you're like, how can they live?
Well, they do burrow. So it's warmer in the ground.
Yeah.
And then if they're like bears, they can lower their heart rate and their breathing rate to control their body temperature. Because that's how bears survive.
Right. But
along with all the fat and the foraging they do beforehand. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And they go into what's called torpor, which is it's a kind of hibernation. They're not completely sleeping, but they're because they wake up and they eat and then they go back to sleep. It's a great existence for winter.
It's what I plan on doing after I have my hip surgery.
Yeah. Someday I'd like to go into this retirement plan where I just wake up, go eat and then go back to sleep.
Go back to bed. Yep.
Spend my last 20 years that way. But yeah, but I'm just amazed at how they just hibernate, I want to a little shout out to Tom, who contributes to the program, sends us Dumb Crime, Stupid Criminals stories and supernatural news stories. Over the Christmas break or shortly before the Christmas break, he sent me a sign and he wished Bruiser and I a happy holidays, and then sent me a sign that says, "This yard is protected by chipmunks." Which I promptly,
it is,
which I promptly hung up in front of my door, which will probably keep the Jehovah's Witnesses away for a while, because they'll wonder, is it really protected by chipmunks? And what type of satanic powers do these people have that they can control the rodents?
Well, Squirrel Girl, she controls the squirrels. You're just chipmunk boy.
Yeah, chip lad.
Yeah. So you control the chipmunks.
Yeah. But yeah, we got to talking about how is it that they live through the winter. So we were speculating, how low do you have to get your body temperature? How low do you have to get your heart rate? All these other things in order to survive a Minnesota winter. I mean, it's tough enough for birds. When you hear birds chirping on a day that's 12 below, 30 below with the wind chill, 40 below with the wind chill, and you hear tweet, tweet, tweet outside, and you're like, oh, come on. You're tough when that happens.
Yeah. I just picture them all being like Empire Strikes Back, where they're all just cutting into a tauntaun and climbing in.
Yeah.
Until the blizzard's over.
Little Jedi Blue Jays with their little lightsabers. Yeah, it gets rough here in Minnesota. It's no joke, especially in the Midwest, Minnesota, Wisconsin, North Dakota. We're tough up here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We don't
thick skin.
Yeah, we're no joke. That's for sure. Yeah.
We talked to my mother-in-law who still lives in Wisconsin often, and Mrs. Bruiser loves to throw in, "Hey, it's this warm here," and she responds with, "We have this much feet of snow."
Yeah. We got piled on.
You guys got dumped on, didn't you?
Yeah, we did. The snowblower came out quite a bit over the last few days. But you know what? It was beautiful for Christmas. I'll give it that. It was
okay. Yeah.
It was a nice white Christmas. That's for sure. And that's what counts. I still love my white Christmas. I do.
I've gotten used to not white Christmases because ever since my parents have moved to Arizona, we go out there. So it's a desert Christmas.
Well, that can be beautiful too. You put some.
Oh, the scenery out there is gorgeous.
Yeah.
I recommend taking in a sunrise or sunset in the mountains because they live in a valley, so they're surrounded by mountains. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
They have wild horses out there.
Oh, yeah.
Which are amazing to watch. Yeah, like I see why people go out there to meditate.
Yeah.
The nature out there is just gorgeous.
So have you ever taken the trip to Sedona and just taken the day trip and taking it all in? Absolutely. That's a spiritual journey in itself.
We did that, and then there's a rock called Hole in the Rock, which is just a giant hole in a rock, but it's just gorgeous. And then we did those domes. Zach Baggins did on Ghost Adventures. There's those haunted domes out there.
Yeah.
My parents live 10 minutes from there.
Really?
So we went out and I showed my mom how to kind of do a makeshift investigation.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. We got some really cool echoey EVPs.
Okay.
And some stuff moved,
Yeah.
And it was so cool because we went right at dusk and it was just amazing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, the scenery out there is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Mrs. Bruiser's got some great photos of the sunrise out there, and it's just gorgeous.
Nice. Well, we hope you all had a great holiday, no matter what you were celebrating, whether it was Hanukkah or Christmas or Kwanzaa, and that it treated you well, and that you maybe got the gifts you were expecting or the gifts you deserved, one or the other. There's a difference between the two.
Hopefully, at least they all ate good food.
Yeah, and that you got some good food as well.
Yeah, and family time.
Even
not even family time, just time with people you care about.
Yes, exactly. Well, it's the same thing, Yeah. You don't necessarily.
I have family that's not blood.
Yeah,
you're my family. I have Malonis, who's my family. So.
Yep, exactly. So you don't need to be blood to be family. Just make sure you got some good family time in there as well. Today on Supernatural News, boy, we got some stories for you. We're going to talk about some strange lights over Wisconsin, not just some cold over Wisconsin, but strange lights as well. Netflix is finally going for that Betty and Barney Hill documentary. So we're going to talk about that today, or biopic, not documentary, but biopic. Did Nostradamus predict the eruption of Yellowstone? And did Stephen Hawking predict some devastating predictions about AI and superhumans? We'll talk about that later in the program. And AI is taking over our jobs. They took their jobs. We're going to talk about that as well today. And we've also are going to talk about some favorite history stories of 2022 as well. We're going to take a little look back at the year of 2022, and we're going to come up with a couple of predictions ourselves for the year of 2023. That's all in today's program. Let's start it off in Wisconsin, shall we? The Dairyland State, who has a big border battle coming up this week. Oh, by the way, we'll talk about Ziggy's picks when we're talking predictions as well. Ziggy coming through on the positive side this week.
She is. She's positive on the whole season, which is great.
That's right. She keeps trucking along. Our psychic pup is trucking along on week 16. By the way, Audio Boom, we need that endorsement from Draft Picks or from any of those places. Chewy. So close circuit to our sales team. The NFL season is ticking down, and we need to get on the ball in that deal.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Because baseball season, there's too many games for her to predict. First of all, it'll take me an hour and a half just to get her to get the predictions.
We'd have to pick a game of the week or something.
Yeah.
Well, and then we've got, I don't know, basketball really isn't it's not as fun to pick.
No.
Yeah, and hockey.
Neither is hockey. Yeah. Hockey's got too much. I love hockey, but it's just
Yeah, it's just too much. Yeah. That's why football is kind of fun because it's a weekly deal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We only have 18 weeks.
Yes,
of the season, so they only play 17 games.
Well, and then you got the playoffs. You get the playoffs, and you've got Super Bowl.
True.
Yeah. And then you're out. As opposed to, what is it? Hockey, you've got 82 games. No, is that the NBA? Yeah.
That's the NBA. Hockey's what, like 100? I know baseball's 162.
Yes, baseball's 160.
And then playoffs.
Yeah.
I think hockey's up in the 100 something too.
Yeah, it gets a little long. Yeah. And we don't want to.
And again, I'm a big hockey fan. It's just
I am too.
Too much.
Yeah. We got our nephew something kind of special. I didn't think he'd pop for it as much as he did, but just briefly, I'll tell you what we got him, because he was really impressed with it, which I thought was kind of cool. We have a relative who played for the Montreal Canadiens, and he won 4 Stanley Cups. His name was Gilles Tremblay, or Gilles Tremblay, depending on how you want to pronounce it. And he was also a color commentator for the Montreal Canadiens throughout the 70s, 80s, and early 90s, I believe. Sorry, I didn't watch a lot of Montreal Canadiens hockey as a Minnesotan.
I just know the iconic jersey.
Yeah. And so I figured, you know what, he got an autograph. I don't know how my sister managed to get a hold of him, probably eBay or something. Got a hold of a Gilles Tremblay autograph, and it just says Gilles Tremblay 4 cups. And he has it hanging in his room. And, my nephew's kind of an old soul. He really is. It's kind of scary. He's like, he's 10 going on 30. So
he's gotten into hockey though, right? You said?
Oh yeah. He played
because of that picture.
Well, he plays hockey. He's been playing hockey since he was 5 or 6. So he's really, really, but yeah, he kind of stares at the picture, and he really is into the history, and he's really studied up on that era of hockey, and Gilles played with Maurice Rocket Richard.
Okay. Yep.
So my nephew has really gotten to know quite a bit about Gilles Tremblay. And so I figured for Christmas, we get him a Gilles Tremblay jersey. Okay. Right. And so we went to fanatics.com and had one made up for him, and got it on an authentic Canadian blank, on a, Montreal Canadiens blank, the French one that's got the French shield.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And he absolutely popped for it. He thought it was just the greatest thing.
I love hockey jerseys. It's just, they're so expensive. Kevin Smith had it right. Big guys should be wearing hockey jerseys all the time.
Yeah.
And I used to have a Blackhawks jersey, and it was the only one I could afford. So
yeah. And it looks really good on him. I mean, he put it on. He never took it off the entire time he was here on Christmas Eve. And he ended up getting for Christmas Day, he ended up getting a Minnesota Wild reverse retro jersey, which looks like the old North Stars jerseys.
Yep.
I think he got that from Santa, if I remember right. He's very much into the Minnesota Wild. That's his team.
Growing up in Minnesota.
Yeah. Well, when I was a kid, I was a Minnesota North Stars fan. And, one of the biggest thrills in my life is I got to engineer and direct a couple of U of M Gopher hockey games with Al Shaver.
Oh, okay.
Who was the voice of the Minnesota North Stars.
Yeah.
So I got to talk directly over the talkback to Al Shaver, which I thought was the greatest thing ever.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So that was a great thing for me.
For non-hockey fans, that's like talking to John Madden. If it's NFL, it's like talking to Harry Carey in baseball.
Yep.
Or Gordon Soley or Jim Ross in professional wrestling.
Yeah.
It's the voice, that people put with. Even if it's not your regional team, you still know the voice.
Yeah. So it was it was quite the Merry Christmas. It was
that's good.
Yeah, it was fun. So we and I've delayed this story long enough, but we go to Wisconsin. Where strange lights have been filmed darting across the sky over rural Wisconsin. Several video clips have emerged of a peculiar phenomenon witnessed by multiple people on the same night. Now, the incident actually occurred back on December 1st, but it's being brought to light now. Get it? See what I did there?
Look what you did there.
Brought to light. And was captured on camera by several independent witnesses in and around the area of West Bend and Fredonia in rural Wisconsin. The phenomenon took the form of multiple white lights moving erratically and at high speed. One witness, Kimberly, had been driving home with her husband along Wallace Lake Road around 10:45 p.m. when they spotted something above them. All of a sudden, we saw what looks like it was a white owl swooping from the upper right-hand top of the trees down in front of the headlights and up to the left, she told Mail Online. Now, in all fairness, I have had a big owl swoop down over my van, and I have seen it. It's creepy.
Yeah, it's very creepy.
Yeah. We looked at each other and went, okay, this is not an owl. What the heck is going on there? And as we both were leaning forward into the windshield, we started seeing these lights similar to what I caught in the video. We just couldn't wrap our heads around what we were seeing. But could these lights have been otherworldly objects, or was this something else going on? Some argue that far from being actual physical objects in the sky, the lights may have been shining upward from the ground, although it still remains unclear what might have been producing them. It's an interesting video at that, and I'll tell you what, we'll put the link up to the video on our description of the show so that you can click on it and you can look at it for yourself and determine what you think they're seeing. But it's an interesting video at that.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've had friends that still live in Wisconsin message me and stuff and, see what my take was. And when they say there's rumors like, oh, it was spotlights, auto dealers or old driving movies, you spring in the big spotlights. Mm-hmm. Like someone said that's what those were. And yeah, but if you look at it, you'd see the beams of the spotlight. Yeah. You know what I mean? You could always tell where the spotlight was coming from on the ground. And in this video, you don't see the actual beam from the ground.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then again, too, like she said, it could be an owl because those white owls, as you know, they reflect light real bright.
They do. Yeah.
And they go so fast, you just see the white blur go in front of you.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
I'm in the air. I don't know what it is, So therefore, to me, it's a UAP because we don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's spotlights or an animal.
Yes. Yeah. We'll move on. Teams of physicists suggest that LIGO could be used to detect giant alien spacecraft. You may say, well, Tim, what is LIGO? Well, we'll tell you what LIGO is. A team of physicists affiliated with several institutions in the U.S. has collaborated on a paper that discusses the possibility of using, here's LIGO, the Laser Interferometer Gravitational Wave Observatory. That's what LIGO is, Bruiser.
I'm just going to call it LIGO.
Yeah, LIGO is a lot easier. To search for evidence of aliens piloting huge spacecraft around the Milky Way. The group has posted their paper on the RXIV preprint server. If you can find it. I looked all over today for it. I couldn't find it anywhere.
Yeah, I wonder where that server is being kept.
Probably somewhere secret. Over the past several decades, astrophysicists and sci-fi enthusiasts alike have grown increasingly frustrated with mankind's ability to detect the presence of life anywhere in the universe other than planet Earth. Scientists have noted that based on the billions of planets that have been found in Habitable zones.
You got it out. Look at you.
I did. Around the universe.
Good with words, Tim. Good with words.
I'm real good with words in my third grade reading level. And the fact that life does exist in one place, which is on Earth, there should be life somewhere else too. The problem, now referred to as the Fermi paradox, is that scientists have yet to find even the tiniest shred of evidence for it. Prominent scientists have increasingly been calling for new and more exotic ways to search. In this new effort, though, the researchers note that science has advanced to the point that gravity waves can be detected by technology such as LIGO. They further suggest that it is not beyond the realm of possibility that aliens piloting spacecraft could leave gravity waves in their wake that could be detected here on Earth using such technology. Intrigued by their own idea, the researchers imagined that the factors that might be involved for such a scenario to unfold. First, they factored the size of such a craft. They found it would have to be really big to generate gravity waves strong enough to reach Earth, perhaps the size of Jupiter, which is pretty darn big if you ask us.
That's huge.
That is huge. It would also have to be moving really fast. Their calculations showed approximately 1/10 the speed of light.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. And it would have to be really close, say about 326,000 light years from Earth. They note that under such conditions, if they were to arise, researchers at LIGO should be able to spot the gravity waves generated. The researchers also note that if aliens were using warp drives, scientists on Earth should be able to spot them too using the same technology, because such a craft would also generate gravity waves. And that's how LIGO would work.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a good theory.
Mm-hmm. For scientists.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And they came up with actually cool acronyms, so good for them.
Yeah, I like LIGO. LIGO's good.
Yeah.
It sounds like Lego, but it's got an I in it.
You know what? They're just thinking of their marketing in the future. They're going to sell Lego, the LIGO. So you got the LIGO and the Lego, and they're going to create the Lego set so you can create Lego with your LIGO with your Lego.
And then as you're playing with your Lego, then you Lego your Ego. I don't know. It goes somewhere weird.
Somehow the Ego is going to get your Lego set. Yeah,
something like that. I don't know. It gets.
They're just thinking of marketing. They're like, Lego, we got something for you.
It's all alliteration after that. That's all I know. Let's move on, shall we?
Yes.
Netflix is planning a Barney Marty Artie type adaptation, a Barney and Betty Hill UFO movie adaptation. We got into the alliteration thing, and then my mind just started going from there. They're planning a Barney and Betty Hill UFO movie adaptation.
Have they had one of those yet? Because that's a pretty famous case.
Well, now they've had.
I know they've been interviewed, and I know they've written books about it. But has there been a movie?
I think there's been a biopic or a documentary of not a documentary, a biopic.
Okay.
Of sorts, but this is, I don't know what the difference. Well, let's read the story and then we'll find out the difference. The iconic UFO incident is set to become a movie courtesy of Netflix and the Obama's production company. Written by writing duo Becky Lee and Mario Kyprianou. The new movie, which will be entitled White Mountains, is being developed by Higher Ground Productions, a production company of Barack and Michelle Obama. Little else is known about the movie at the present time. No casting has been announced, and it doesn't look as though it will even go into production until sometime in 2023. As it stands, the most likely release date for the film will be in 2024. A brief synopsis reads, after an interracial couple in the 1960s has a horrifying encounter with a UFO, they set out to discover if it actually happened or if it is just a case of folie à deux madness for two.
Folie à deux.
Folie à deux. Madness for two. Alliteration. You got to love it. The story of what happened to the Hills remains one of the most iconic in all of ufology. The couple had been driving home from a vacation to the Niagara Falls on September 19th, 1961. when the incident happened. At around 10:30 p.m. that evening, Betty spotted a strange bright light in the sky. As they drove along, it seemed to change size and move erratically, prompting them to stop at the roadside to take a look at it through binoculars. Barney initially believed it to be an airliner until it suddenly changed direction, leading him to conclude that it was definitely not a plane. Unnerved, the couple got back into their car and resumed their journey. Things would soon take a sinister turn, however, when the object moved disconcertingly close to their car and seemed to be following them as they drove along a stretch of isolated rural road. Eventually, the UFO turned and descended towards them, forcing Barney to hit the brakes to avoid a collision. When he got out of the car with his binoculars for the second time, he was certain that he could see a number of humanoid figures looking back at him from inside it.
Yep.
Yikes. Oh, yeah. He later claimed that they had been wearing black uniforms and caps. They were part of a Rhythm Nation, I believe.
It was the Janet Jackson video.
Yes. Yeah, that's how the whole Rhythm Nation thing started.
Great video. If anybody wants to check it out, it's a great video.
It's a great video. I love that.
I always wanted one of those hats too, because they had the metal in the front.
Yeah.
That was my early 90s wish.
I have the Kangol version of that without the metal. I just have one of the Black Army caps.
You went LL Cool J, huh?
Yeah, I did. Terrified, the couple got back in their car and attempted to flee. However, the object had moved directly above their vehicle, producing a peculiar series of beeping and buzzing sounds. Then they experienced a period of missing time, after which they became aware that they had traveled some 35 miles along the road without recalling the journey. Upon finally arriving home, the couple found physical signs that something had happened to them, such as strange marks on their car and damage to their clothes. Later, under hypnosis, the couple recalled having been taken aboard the alien spacecraft and subjected to a medical examination. With both Betty and Barney now deceased, however, we may never know for sure what truly happened to them. What do you think, Bruiser? Netflix movie?
I'm all for it. Netflix does a great job with that kind of stuff, and I'm all for it. And this was one of the early cases that I got into UFOs with, because I was brought into the UFO world because of Travis Walton and the movie Fire in the Sky and his encounter. And then I found out about the Hills. And if you go on YouTube, if the listeners want to go down this rabbit hole, they have some of their sessions on YouTube of them under hypnosis and telling the tale and stuff. They released, there's some audio and there's some video.
Okay.
And then obviously they did the talk show circuit and stuff like that too. But it's really interesting because there's a couple YouTube channels that put the interviews back to back, the hypnosis, and it never changes. It's the same story all the way through for both of them.
How much, if you're Netflix, how much do you put into the movie? How much do you spend on that movie? Because it's the Obamas producing it. Yeah. So it should be a higher range.
You got to put a good chunk of change in there, because you're going to want to get some top end actors in there. And then the CGI and the special effects you're going to need to do the UFO. I mean, you could do it with lights and stuff like that, but this thing stalked them. You know what I mean? You're going to need something. I think a pretty big budget.
Okay.
I think a couple million.
Just a couple million?
20, 30 million maybe.
That's 20, 30 million though these days in Hollywood terms, that's pretty low budget.
That is, you're right. I'm thinking 90s budget.
Yeah. I throw at least, I mean, for Netflix, Netflix is throwing 90 to 100 million around like it's nothing these days.
Then that's what I do. Throw 100 million right out there. Get Idris Elba or whatever to play one of them.
Yeah.
Because he was black, she was white. That's the interracial couple, right? Isn't that the way it is, or is it vice versa? I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
Yeah. But you can get some up and coming heavy hitters to play them.
Yep. And they probably
kind of like what they did in The Conjuring, with the two that played Ed and Lorraine.
Yep. I think it'll at least be a $60 to $70 million budget. I think they'll do probably mid-range budget, have some decent special effects.
And if you get a decent director on there,
yeah. I don't know why I'm all of a sudden taking an Obama type effect, but I am. But I think you could put a decent budget behind it, and no, I'm doing it again. But you could probably put a pretty good budget behind it, and you could probably make a pretty good film out of it.
You got to get a good director.
Yeah.
You know?
So who do you have direct it?
You know what? I would go with Jordan Peele.
Really? That's a good choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Nope was a UFO movie.
Did you see Nope?
Not yet. I had it selected on the plane, and then I'm like, you know what? I'm going to fall asleep. I know I'm going to fall asleep. So I switched to good old Batman. And because you and I have talked about the Batman, and you said, go watch it again. Tell me what you think. So I did it, and I still love it. Still great. But yeah, it's on my list. And actually, Mrs. Bruiser returns to the office, so it will probably be tomorrow that I watch it.
Okay.
Because I love all these movies. These movies are great. Us was really good.
Yeah.
What was it? Get Out was an amazing.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you attach him to this. This is right up his alley.
It is. My only problem with putting Jordan Peele in the driver's seat for this deal is I don't want his interpretation of the story. I want him to tell the story.
That's true too.
Yeah. And I think Jordan Peele is very good at taking a story and giving his interpretation of it.
That's true.
I don't want
that with Candyman.
Yeah. I don't want it to be an artistic retelling. I want it to be just the facts, man.
Rob McBride would be pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think maybe
Ryan Murphy would be. Well, Ryan Murphy does the same thing that Peele does, where he puts his own twist on it. Yeah. But Ryan Murphy would, because he's put out some solid stuff lately.
True.
You know, the Dahmer series. I know it's controversial, but I thought it was fantastic.
Very true. You know,
but it had its. You know what? It's gonna be because it's a movie. It's not a documentary. They're gonna take creative liberties with some things. I hope they stick to the base story that it was. Obviously, what happened to them, you can do a little creative play with, but their interviews and their hypnosis and all that, you got to keep that. There's so much footage of it out there. You got to keep that. Because that's and the scrutiny they face. Because remember, they were publicly, scrutinized by the media.
If you're wanting to tell a story about the couple in a couple against the world type of story and how they faced adversity and make it more of a story of humanity, and considering the relationship he may have with the couple, why not Steven Spielberg?
Yeah. You think they go high budget? Like, do you think he would do a Netflix show?
I think he would.
You do?
I think he would. Especially if it's, I think just in the interest of art, I think he'd do it. Especially if it's a good script.
You can probably get like a James Cameron then too.
I think Cameron's so into the Avatar thing right now that I don't think he would see his way to it. I think this is kind of a
what if we throw a twist in there and we throw Tarantino in there and get a Tarantino spin on it?
I think there'd be too many MFers in that, and then
Samuel L. Jackson
somehow, Samuel L. Jackson
is aliens on this MF and planet.
Yeah, Samuel L. Jackson would be Barney Hill, and he'd get out and end up whipping the alien's ass. I don't think it would be a true telling of that story at all. Yeah, it just wouldn't be. It wouldn't be what we were expecting. No. Mm-mm.
It'd be interesting to keep in ear to the ground, see who gets attached to it and how they do it.
Should we ask Samuel if he's ever whooped an alien's ass?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Hold on. Hey Samuel, have you ever whipped an alien's ass? I think I just broke him.
He heard you because he beeped.
Yeah. Hey, Samuel, tell me a dirty joke.
Want to hear a dirty joke? Boy fell in a pile of shit. How about the clean version? He took a shower.
Okay, so he's still awake. I know he's still awake. Sometimes you got to warm him up a little bit.
And he's probably upset because we're saying he shouldn't be in the movie. And he's like, hey, that's a payday.
Yeah.
I need a payday.
Hey, Samuel, would you play Barney Hill in a movie?
I can't find the video of the barber of Stamford Hill.
See, and then he just totally ignores it. He's like, man, I'm not telling you.
Hey, man, that's private to me and my agent.
Yeah, it's private stuff.
You know, I went back and watched the original Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
He is, because he's not known in that movie yet. Right. He's still just, you know what I mean? Like nothing really big had come out. He is so good in that movie.
Well, not mainstream.
Hey, he's not mainstream. You're right. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I mean,
he's not your leading man yet. He's your really good supporting actor. But in that movie, he is really good.
I mean, he'd been in Spike Lee movies and stuff like that.
But he was never the leading. He was always the side.
Yeah, he's supporting. Yeah. I mean, if you'd seen other movies, you knew who he was. But.
What about Spike Lee doing it? What if we make it a Spike Lee joint?
Spike Lee joint on Betty and Barney Hill. That would not work.
You get Lawrence Fishburne play Barney Hill.
Just a long leather jacket and a toothpick hanging out of his mouth. I'm going to slap the taste out of that alien's mouth. No, it just wouldn't work. No. Let's move on, shall we? We're coming up on a break. It's kind of fun to play who would direct the Betty and Barney Hill movie in the different interpretations you'd get. Actually, have you heard about the did you hear the Quentin Tarantino Howard Stern interview when they asked him about Star Trek and what his Star Trek would be like?
No.
It was kind of funny. I'm not going to lie.
Okay, I'll have to go back and look that up.
Because he did say there'd be MFers in Star Trek.
Yeah, there would.
Yeah, and it would be more like Star Wars and Star Trek.
That's the biggest complaint when you have the battle between Star Wars and Star Trek. Mm-hmm. Star Wars is all the action, where Star Trek's all the dialogue. Yeah,
and it's a little bit more brainy, let's face it. It's more intellectual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of both, but if you put a gun to my head, it's Star Wars all the way.
Not according to Tarantino. He said
he's Star Trek, huh?
He'd strip that MFer down, and by God, Star Trek fans would cringe.
You have William Shatner going, Bones, there's all these motherfucking Klingons on this motherfucking Enterprise.
Well, he didn't really reveal who he'd recast in those different roles, but...
I'd bring Shatner back just to have Shatner in
it. Just to have him swearing. I'd
have him talking to everybody like they're the original cast. Like he doesn't know Leonard Nimoy had passed away, or that Scotty had passed away, or that Doc had passed away. So he'd just walk up to random people and, Scotty, come on, you need to beam us up. And the guy, I'm not Scotty. What are you talking about?
Yeah, have a senile captain running around giving orders.
Exactly. Yeah. He's William Shatner. And people, you know what? People give William Shatner that pass.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. They do. I'd love to see Quentin Tarantino direct Ric Flair in a Car Shield commercial. I just think that would be the best thing ever. That should be...
Flair drops MFers all the time, though. So.
He does. I think that would be that should be his closing opus. That should be the last thing that Quentin Tarantino ever does. Let's move on. A woman captures a matrix glitch of two suns in the sky, and it's pretty breathtaking. However, you could say it's a camera flare or a trick of the camera.
Yeah.
If you see it. Is it a glitch in the matrix or a natural event? This woman wanted to capture the sunrise after weeks of fog and swears she saw two suns. A beautiful hazy glow lights up the clouds as a bright dot seems to rise as if it's the sun. However, trailing behind it is a similar but slightly less bright dot claiming to be the additional bonus sun. Commenters are quick to shout, Nibiru! Probably not what you should shout. A term which has several different meanings.
Were you just having a stroke?
No. It's an actual term. It's an ancient Akkadian term for a planetary crossing or equinox, a hypothetical planet resoundingly proven not to exist, by the way, or a predicted cataclysmic collision with a meteorite, or a fictional planet in the Star Trek universe, by the way.
Okay.
Yes. Commenters didn't specify which conspiracy theory context they were using the word in when they yelled, Nibiru! It seems they weren't making Star Trek jokes, much to our disappointment. Maybe
they were having a stroke.
No, it could have been, yeah. Many commenters also pointed to wormwood from the Bible's Book of Revelation, a passage often associated with a meteor that will poison the waters in a predicted apocalypse. Well, people just go right to the negative on this deal, don't they?
Yep. Like, hey, look, this is a very beautiful, might be something we don't see a lot in our lifetime, and yeah, it's going to kill us.
Interestingly, the Ukrainian word for the plant wormwood is Chernobyl.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. Which many have taken to have been a prediction of the devastating nuclear catastrophe of the same name in 1986. The falling stars that turn the water to poison are thought to represent the radioactive fallout from the event. The two suns are certainly a trick of light, either from a lens flare on the camera or as a neat optical illusion from the ice crystals of the fog refracting from the light, which is probably what's happening here.
Yeah.
In such a way as to make a second image. The video is interesting, but it's quite clear when you see the video, so it's not one of those things I'll post. But I'll tell you this much. If you go to TikTok and look up @PaintedPoniesRanch, you'll see the video for yourself. The headline is, I was just trying to get a video of the sun, and that's being blocked by fog. And you'll see it for yourself. It's quite obvious.
Yeah, and the thing about that is the fog, because fog is reflective, and because it's made of moisture and water. You know, it's like shining a flashlight in the fog. You're going to get, it's going to look like you have two flashlights.
Yep. That and the ice crystals in the fog. Ice crystals are a classic refractor and will create that effect of two suns. So,
did they say what state she was in? No.
State of confusion. No, it doesn't say in this article.
Because it sounds like it was a Painted Pony Ranch. I'm assuming it's a ranch in Texas or something. And there's a lot of dew and fog in the morning when you're out.
Well, that's just her handle, Painted Ponies Ranch. So
yeah. I'm just assuming,
Yep.
Jumping to conclusions. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, of course. Let's take our break here. When we come back, an elf on a shelf that may be possessed, so much so that it caused me to quiver. I know some people are freaked out by elf on a shelf.
I have my theories on that. I'll share it when we get to that story.
We'll talk about that when we come back. A 2,000-year-old burial cave, which is thought to have been for Jesus's midwife. That's right, I said Jesus's midwife. We'll break out the predictions when we come back. Did Nostradamus predict the eruption of Yellowstone in 2023? We'll talk about that. We've got some predictions ourselves. We'll talk about Ziggy's picks from this past week. And we'll talk about predictions that Stephen Hawking made for humanity, or the lack of. That's coming up next on the Best in Paranormal Podcasting. This is Supernatural News Wednesday. It's on a Wednesday right here on Darkness Radio. Welcome back to the Best in Paranormal Podcasting. This is Darkness Radio. On the Cruiser, that's a Bruiser right over there. On the big program, post-Christmas, pre-New Year's.
Holiday album dropping soon.
That's right. We call it the Holiday Convoy. We're halfway through. We're trucking through the night. We're going to get there to the New Year. Yeah, we're in between the holidays. That's right. We're set up perfectly, right in between the two.
I read someplace that for these 6 days that we got till the new year, just chill out, relax. You don't need to do anything for the next 6 days because you're not going to change your year any, and it's too early to start working on your new stuff. So just relax, just become a coach, just chill out, enjoy the 6 days. I mean, obviously go to work and stuff, but like, don't stress. Don't worry about it. You want to lose weight? Cool. Wait. You want to start a gym membership? Okay, cool. Wait. You want to read a book? Wait. I'd 6 days to chill out.
I'd read on somebody's social media that we're now in, I don't remember, somebody's stars and somebody's sign and somebody's who or whatever, that we're now in a period where it's extremely good luck for everybody or something like that.
Oh, we could all use it.
Yeah, we're all in an extremely good lucky period right now. So play that lottery. Everybody's going to win, I guess. I don't know.
Which means if everybody wins, nobody gets paid.
That's right. Nobody gets paid. Y'all win $1.
Yeah. It's a $500 million bet or a lottery, and 500 million people win. So y'all get $1.
What is the Powerball at for tonight's drawing? It's like 200 and some million, isn't it?
I think so. I know the Mega Millions out here is over 500.
But that was for Tuesdays. It was 565 million.
Look at that.
We tape on Tuesday. So we're pulling back the curtain here. We tape on Tuesday for Wednesday.
Yes.
So yeah. So you yeah. But then Wednesday, let's look it up. We can do that. We got technology at our fingertips, don't we, Bruiser?
We sure do.
So we can look up that sort of stuff. So it's funny. They have this app that's called Jack Pocket. It makes me laugh every time I hear it. So I hear Jack Pocket and I go, it's 215 million for Powerball for tonight.
Jack Pocket reminds me of high school.
I know, right? So you put a little hole in your pocket and there you go. You got entertainment for days. So 215 million. So if everybody plays Powerball tonight, they all win. And we each get $1.
But you can say you're a lottery winner.
That's right. I've won, I think I've told this on the show before, won $100 6 times.
Ooh.
At Powerball. And I've won $200 on Mega Millions once.
Look at you.
Yeah. So by all odds, I should win one of the jackpots shortly before I die.
Yeah.
I think. Right?
Yeah.
You would think.
You get a big check.
Yeah. Big check.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to winning that big check one day. It's probably not worth anything.
Probably not, but take a big check.
Take it to a bank and they just look at you and laugh.
You got to take it to a big bank.
You do. A really big bank. Yeah. Like the size of a stadium.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then you walk through the front door with it,
We'll take it to US Bank Stadium. There you go.
There you go. And then I could cash it. Yeah.
Exactly.
You know what'll happen is probably the same thing that happens to Kirk Cousins. I'll fumble it on the way in. I won't be able
Somebody else will pick it up and go cash it.
That's right. They'll run to the bank with it and then they'll cash it. So that's what'll happen. Anywho, there's an elf on a shelf that might actually be alive or just possessed.
I believe it.
You think so?
I believe that 100%. Yeah.
Our own Mally Fox has for years been playing with her stepkids and doing a masterful job of it with her elf on a shelf. This year she revealed that she hasn't quite been in the spirit with her elf on a shelf.
Okay.
Which is kind of sad because I love her adventures with the elf on a shelf. One year, she actually put the elf on a shelf underneath Mr. Fox's tire to make it look like he had run over the elf on a shelf, which I thought was amazing. That's one of the better ones. But a lot of people have some good fun with elf on a shelf. I have a Snoop on a shelf. In fact, I think I have him behind me, actually. Is my Snoop on a shelf behind me? Let's see. Yeah, there he is right there. You see him?
There he is, yeah.
There's Snoop on a shelf. He's got a little spliff in his mouth.
Yeah.
Actually, here, I'll get him down. Let's see.
I like how he doesn't have the typical Santa outfit, the red. He has the green.
Yeah, he's got the grizzine right here. See?
Yeah. Oh, I love the sunglasses, too.
Yeah, he's got sunglasses. He's got his hair in twists.
Yeah.
He's got
that's
little
Snoop Dogg, all right.
little bells right there. See, he's got.
Yeah.
I wish y'all could see him. He's just so cute. Was that
You don't get high
Snoop?
just touching that, do you?
I get. Yeah, if I smell him, I get a contact high. Yeah, this is my Snoop on a shelf.
I love the bells in his braids too.
And they jingle. See, the bells in his braids, they jingle. Yeah,
See, I'll have to make a bruiser in your bathroom. That's what I'll have to make.
A bruiser in your bathroom. I've taken a few of those in my day, my friend. Let me tell you. In fact, I think I have a semi-hernia because I've taken a few bruisers in the bathroom. Yeah, I got my Snizoop on the shelf. He stays there year round, though. I don't ever move him.
Yeah, you don't have to.
No, you don't. I'm kind of entertained by Snizoop on a shelf. Anyway,
See, my theory on this elf on the shelf is, I don't remember when it started.
I can tell you exactly when. It's in our story.
Okay, but like when I was a kid, you never had that, and all of a sudden out of nowhere, it just pops up.
See, you would think we didn't, but it was around. It was started in the 70s.
Yeah, but we were children then. Did you remember it?
No, but
I think it just came out of nowhere because it's evil. And all of them are possessed.
It has an evil face. I'm getting hiccups again. I don't know what my deal is. Hold on. Let me take a sip here.
You're scared of the elf on the shelf because you know I'm right. It came out of nowhere.
I'm not scared.
They can
of
say
Snizoop.
it was created in the 70s.
I'm not scared of Snizoop. Snizoop's my buddy.
Snizoop's great.
Yeah.
Because we know where Snizoop came from. He's like, damn, elf on the shelf making all that money. Watch me make my money.
That's
I'm
right.
the DOGG.
That's right. That's all Snoop and I do is make green all day long.
Yeah. He's gonna rezock the DZ for shizzle.
Whatever you just said, sure. So here's the story. Despite what children might believe, the elf on a shelf phenomenon is not actually a time-honored holiday tradition, but was instead invented as a merchandising juggernaut by a Georgia family in 2005.
See? Came out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. It took off, however, in no small part to being marketings. That doesn't make sense, as a holiday tradition, and thanks to the proliferation of social media posts, grew into a massive part of the holiday for an entire generation of children and their parents who delight in finding new and even more ridiculous scrapes for that night creeping spy to get into as it watches over children from Thanksgiving to Christmas Eve. It does go for a while.
It does.
Yeah.
And why did Elf on the Shelf pick up, but Flat Stanley didn't?
Flat Stanley?
You don't know Flat Stanley?
Enlighten me. What is Flat Stanley?
He's like a learning thing where you take him and put him in different historical areas and stuff like that, and you learn about it. It's Flat Stanley, and he's just a flat guy. He's like a sticker.
That's probably why it didn't go over.
Yeah.
Maybe if it were more like Elf on a Shelf, it'd be,
Maybe if it was possessed.
Yeah, maybe
That's what
if
Elf
it was,
on the Shelf is.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But like all dolls, does Elf on the Shelf have the potential of becoming possessed by an evil spirit?
It already is. It already is.
Or due to its nature as a magical doll that moves around at night on its own? Wink, wink.
See, there's your next Netflix series.
Elf on a Shelf. The
horror movie.
The adventure. Oh, the horror movie.
It's going to be like Annabelle, but for Christmas time.
Or Chucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get Wes Craven to direct it.
Sharpening a candy cane and put it through somebody's eye.
Or, Wes Craven's gone. John Carpenter to direct it.
Yep, John Carpenter. Yeah, he could do the music too.
Yeah.
Or better yet, the people from The Walking Dead.
There you go.
Yeah. So you're really into this. You were like, yes, I think it should be a Bruiser production.
I'm down with that.
Yeah.
And that's how we launched Bruiser in the Bathroom, because Bruiser in the Bathroom is what kills Elf on the Shelf.
Bruiser in the Bathroom. Somebody takes a giant dump on it and kills it. Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm going to make, like you have this Sneezoop, I'm going to make a Bruiser that's me.
Yeah.
It'll be a golden outfit to look like beer.
Okay.
But the only place you can put me is around your bathroom.
Bruiser in the bathroom.
I'm making sure you're behaving while you're in the bathroom.
I see.
This is for the puberty hit men, the boys that are reaching that age.
The boys to men? Is that what you were going to say?
Like boys that are becoming men. And you know how it is. You get those feelings. You go in the bathroom. And
What? What are we talking about again?
I look over what happens in the bathroom. No naughty stuff in the bathroom.
Oh, okay. Because you lost me there for a minute. I did. For a minute,
I was trying to make it PG.
Yeah, well, we went past PG there, pal. I don't know where we were going there for a minute. Let's get back to our story.
Yeah. Let's go back to the satanic.
Yeah. Okay. Due to its nature as a magical doll, it sneaks around at night all on its own. Is that part of the package here? What exactly is it that we are bringing into our homes every time we let one of these little elves inside? Well, there's a video out there of an elf on a shelf, which has either been cruelly taped to the wall or something has happened to it, okay? Possibly to prevent this exact kind of shenanigans, so it won't be running around our house loose, doing other types of shenanigans. It appears to loosen itself from its bonds and flop over. Now, is it clever editing or stop motion photography? Or is it just a natural occurrence of tape loosening and coming unstuck? A deeply bizarre glimpse into how we've let this cross-commercial enterprise infiltrate our holiday traditions for the sake of social media clout is the question. Dolls can be creepy. We'll admit that. Elf on a Shelf has been seemingly designed to be creepy. Its entire purpose is to spy on your kids. So what are we doing wrong here? Well, when I look at this video, and I've looked at this video a few times because I wanted to see what was being done, it seems like the answer is pretty simple. It's stop motion photography.
Okay. So you see the clicks.
You do see the clicks, and the doll is wriggling out of its bonds of what looks like electrical tape, and it's trying to free itself off the wall.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can clearly see stop motion.
Yeah, and it's stop motion photography. So much so that I'm not even going to post it.
You're like, oh, I got it.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious. It's a nice little lark. It's a nice little joke, but people are really freaked out by Elf on a Shelf.
Oh yeah, I am. I don't like it.
Really?
Yeah, because it came out of nowhere, and they're all like, "Oh no, it's a time-honored tradition." No, it's not.
No, I remember.
A time-honored tradition is Frosty or Rudolph or Santa Comes to Town. That's time-honored tradition, you know. Elf on the Shelf came out of nowhere.
How do you feel about sock monkeys?
I like them. They're all right.
Okay. You're not freaked out by sock monkeys? Because
no,
people line up.
Dolls don't really freak me out, but the Elf on the Shelf, just because it came out of nowhere and took over everything.
I'm not bothered by Elf on a Shelf. I'm rather amused by it.
I'm amused. I don't know. I know my kids would never want it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on. I just, I like my little Snoop.
Snoop is great because it's Snoop. Like, that's Snoop making money, which is great.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I'm creating Bruiser in the bathroom and make some money with it.
Bruiser.
Elf on the Shelf.
You don't think teenage boys everywhere would be scarred for life with you in the bathroom with them?
Yeah, that's the whole point. Parents are trying. The purpose of Elf on the Shelf is to make your kids behave during the holidays.
Right.
Well, Bruiser in the bathroom's making sure you don't sin in the bathroom.
You're just there to make sure teenage boys don't touch themselves. God.
And if you want to have a conversation while you're going to the bathroom, you know,
you can talk
to. If you just want to freak out in-laws when they come over, think about your father-in-law's got to take a dump. He's all like, "Oh, I gotta go." He sits down, and there's my face staring at him while he's going. It's the best rib ever.
It kind of is, yeah.
See?
Yeah. Does it come with any air freshener or anything, or is it just?
Yes. It'll be, if you squeeze the belly button, air freshener gets released. We'll come up with different scents.
Like what? Like what scent?
Root beer will be a scent because I have the beard oil from Mad Cat Beer.
Okay.
Beard care. So the Root Beer City Bruiser, you have root beer. We can throw beer in there for people that love the smell of beer.
Sure. All right. Yeah.
You know, We'll throw in like just different stuff that does, that smell like, gasoline, because people like to smell gasoline.
Gasoline? So it's going to smell like someone's trying to burn your house down.
You know what, though? Some people like the smell of gasoline.
Wow.
We're going to go like out of the box with these smells, too.
Hey, kid, we're going to kill your heart on by releasing the smell of...
Or do the opposite. Every time you smell root beer, you get excited.
Hey, how about the scent of artificial banana?
There you go.
So you can automatically assume every time you get a hard on, you think of a banana.
We can do, one of my favorite smells is after you get a tattoo, when they put the stuff on your tattoo to wipe out, to clean it.
Yeah.
That smell. Oh. People that have tattoos know what I'm talking about. That smells amazing.
The tattoo smell.
Yeah.
But boss, what does it smell?
That's the tattoo smell. I don't know. Okay, let's move.
I got a perfect marketing plan.
You found something to weird me out more than Elf on a Shelf.
Now I just need someone to decide it for me.
That's a miniature you emitting a gasoline smell in my bathroom.
You don't like the smell of gasoline?
Not in my bathroom. No.
What do you want your bathroom to smell like?
Not gasoline. I know that much. Generally, when I smell gasoline in my bathroom, I think someone's trying to torch me out of there.
See? So you take less time in there. So it's making you spend more time with your family. Look at that. I'm bringing families closer together.
I guess you are. That's Hey, maybe we could use that gasoline-scented Bruiser to get Jesus's midwife out of her burial cave. There's the next story we're reading. A 2,000-year-old burial cave is thought to have been for Jesus's midwife. Jesus had a midwife?
I didn't know Jesus had a midwife.
I don't know.
Don't you need a midwife to deliver a baby? Isn't that what a midwife's for?
Yeah.
So did she deliver him?
We're about to find out.
I was going to say, like,
either that or
she delivered him. He's like, hey, come hang out with me. Like, I got you.
Either that or pimping is pimping. Know what I mean?
Because he had no children.
Or did he?
Oh, could you imagine that, Rob? You're walking around, hey, I'm the son of Jesus. Yeah. No, I can't do what he can do.
Well, maybe there's a few juniors running around.
Jesus Junior.
Jesus Junior is an actual band.
Is it really?
It's a college band, college music, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm Jesus the Fourth.
Well, I'm sure it's Jesus Christ the Fourth. I mean, come on, let's give him his props, all right?
What's his last name, Christ? They didn't have last names in the Bible times, did they? Because Mary was just Mary, Joseph was just Joseph.
Yeah. It would be like Jesus, son of Joseph. So that's what would be put on your tombstone.
But he wasn't the son of Joseph, he was the son of God.
No, according to earthly standards, he was the son of Joseph.
That's true.
Right.
How would you like to be they had more kids after Jesus. How would you like to have to live in that shadow? Like, yeah, that's my older brother, Jesus. No, I can't do the stuff he does.
He didn't he have a brother?
He had a bunch of brothers.
Yeah.
Because him and Joseph and Mary, like, they were rabbits afterwards.
Yeah. So it's like, oh, yeah, that's my brother, Jesus. He thinks he walks on water. He's so special. Yeah. I mean, it's probably hard to live up to.
We're so glad you're coming to our high school. Jesus did so great for us. Yeah, I know. Trust me.
Yeah. Can't live up to Jesus. I can't produce loaves and fishes, but, but hey, I can make origami.
Hey, why'd you give me this glass of water? Because we want wine. Yeah, I'm not my brother.
Yeah, I can't do the stuff my brother can do. Hey, you know what I can do, though? I've got this stuff I can squirt in there. I think it's called Kool-Aid packets. I've got Kool-Aid mix I can put in there.
They're always like, hey, we're a few chickens short for rent this month. You know what? I'll just talk to Jesus. He'll help us out. Jesus is like, oh, there's Ismail, my younger brother. Always asking for chickens.
He's asking for chickens.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah, the Jesus siblings probably didn't have it easy. That's for sure. That's for sure. Well, let's find out who Jesus' midwife was. As part of an ongoing archaeological dig, researchers with the Israel Antiquities Authority, or the IAA, have finally begun excavations in the area around a 2,000-year-old burial cave. Although the cave was discovered 40 years ago, this is the first time that the surrounding area has been investigated. If that isn't intriguing enough, Bruiser, it's also said to be the burial site of Salome, who is the midwife from the Bible who birthed baby Jesus. So
there it is. Okay.
She was there doing the catching. Yep. I mean,
she was in the stable for some reason.
For some reason. Well, she was there to catch the baby Jesus. She was the Gary Carter of baby Jesus.
How come she's not in the nativity scene?
Not enough room.
They couldn't move a donkey.
Yeah, they had to take a donkey out, or
take the donkey out and give the lady who helped make sure he survived birth.
The wise men were more important. I don't know. Who was Salome, by the way? Well, according to Christian beliefs, Salome lived in Bethlehem and was asked to aid in Jesus' delivery. When she arrived, she was in disbelief that the child was being born to a virgin, but went to work anyway. She's like, I don't believe it. After he was born, she held him in her arms, which had some unspecified injury, and she was miraculously healed.
See?
She got some benefit out of this deal, too.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was Salome who proclaimed that a great king was born unto Israel. Although the site, which was dated to the 1st century AD, was a Jewish burial complex, in later centuries, it became an important Christian site due to the association with the biblical midwife. A Byzantine chapel was built nearby, and it became a place of pilgrimage, a conclusion that archaeologists were able to confirm after later looking into the contents of the area. The Salome Cave was first uncovered 40 years ago by looters, but shortly afterwards it was investigated by a doctor of antiquities, Amos Kloner. This research stopped before they were able to uncover the forecourt of the cave, and this project is now being taken up by new researchers. The space is roughly 350 square meters, surrounded by stone walls and many mosaic floors. They were also able to expose the cave entrance and the chapel in the interior, all of which were quite elaborately designed. Researchers have concluded that the family it belonged to was extremely wealthy, as they were able to put a lot of money into the details. For example, the walls leading into the cave include stone carvings of pomegranates, rosettes, and vases. What was inside the cave, you may ask? Well, the most intriguing element of the forecourt, however, is what was built there years after the original burial place. The excavations uncovered rows of shop stalls, which were used by pilgrims to the site to rent or buy clay lamps, according to two of the IAA excavation directors. In the shop, we found hundreds of complete and broken lamps dating from the 8th to 9th centuries AD. The lamps may have served to light up the cave or as part of the religious ceremony, similar to candles distributed today at the graves of righteous figures and in churches. It is unknown whether the cave truly was the burial place of Salome, but many inscriptions on the walls and the fact that the Christian chapel was built indicate that it was long dedicated to her regardless. IAA Director Sar Ganor explained that the Salome Cave and the forecourt will be open to the public once the appropriate investigations and restorations have been completed.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so there you go.
She probably became in high demand after delivering Jesus.
How so? I got to hear this one. Go ahead.
She delivers the Son of God.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't you want to be that shepherd? Okay, you're a shepherd.
Mm-hmm.
Your wife's pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
And you get the midwife that delivered the Son of God to deliver your child.
Sure.
Like, you're at the local bar, you're having a few pints.
Mm-hmm.
I'd brag about it, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
That's my daughter right there. She was brought in by the midwife that brought in the Son of God.
She was brought in by Salome. That's my baby girl.
Yeah, Salome. She delivered my baby.
She got caught by the golden catcher.
She touched Jesus. Now she touched my daughter. I don't know why they turned southern all of a sudden.
I don't know, because they're from southern Jerusalem, I guess. Yeah, that's probably why. I guess, sure, it's a bragging point, sure.
It's cool if they're going to open it to the public, though. Like, that stuff's cool. Like,
yeah,
even if you take like the biblical aspect out of it, like I've heard people have done the walk that Jesus did and stuff. And if you take the biblical aspect out of it and just look at it from a historical standpoint, it's really cool that some of that stuff was preserved as long as it's been preserved.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the Weeping Wall and all that. Like, that's really cool to see.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. Let's get into the prediction segment of our show, shall we?
Let's do it.
We got some predictions to get through here first. Let's start with Nostradamus. Did he predict the eruption of Yellowstone in 2023? Well, researchers believe that Michel de Notre Dame, or Nostradamus, foresaw a catastrophic volcanic eruption in Yellowstone, and interpreters of the words of Nostradamus claim that about 500 years ago, a medieval prophet foresaw a terrible volcanic eruption. Alleged prophecies recorded by Nostradamus in his 1555 Les Prophéties have led theorists to interpret and analyze what the French astrologer wrote down. Here's the quote: "An earthquake that shall concern particularly the western area of the new city, but felt in lands throughout the globe, a volcanic fire from the middle of the earth." Now, researchers claim that Nostradamus foresaw a volcanic fire, an earthquake felt around the globe occurring in a new city. That's in quotes. The theory has been presented in the past and spread on the internet. Followers of Nostradamus believe that a French astrologer wrote down verses that mention a strong earthquake that will especially affect the western part of the new city. It will be felt in lands all over the globe. That's in quotes. And there will also be volcanic fire from the center of the earth. That also in quotes. That will cause an eruption around the new city. As for the location of the new city, well, that's a mystery. However, the interpreters of the prophecies of Nostradamus claim that the new city is just a reference to the American continent and not a real city. According to the followers of the French astrologer, the poems of Nostradamus are most likely related to Yellowstone. And if Yellowstone does erupt, sulfur dioxide emissions could kill nearly 90,000 people, making much of the U.S. uninhabitable.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. According to some scientists, in the event of the worst outcome, the volcano will immediately destroy all life within a radius of 100 miles. Then the devastation will cover the next 500 kilometers in radius, and the dead zone will soon spread 1,000 miles in all directions from the epicenter of the volcanic explosion. All of North America will be covered with a huge layer of volcanic ash, which will lead to the destruction of flora and fauna on the continent. Here's the scary part, Bruiser, if it wasn't already scary to you. People will have to breathe only through respirators because dust will contain, or will constantly hover in the air, tiny particles of glass that are deadly to our lungs. So glass will be floating in the air.
Yeah, you'll be sucking in glass, which will cut you up.
Yep, it'll cut up your lungs instantly. So you'll have to have some sort of respirator in order to breathe.
And you're going to go through those respirators quickly because the filters will be chopped up and
or you'll have to have some sort of permanent plastic respirator or rebreather in order to go outside. Many people are convinced that he actually predicted countless events hundreds of years in advance. Others say it's just a play on words, and that the French astrologer had no ability or way to see into the future. Despite this, some researchers believe that he predicted the rise of Hitler, the landing of the man on the moon, and much, much more. So I got to ask you, Bruiser, do you think Nostradamus was able to see the eruption of Yellowstone?
I don't know, because Yellowstone wasn't a thing when he was alive, was it?
No, actually, the New World was not, I don't believe, was accessible in 1555.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it was either. So I don't know. Like I'm on the fence when they always say, because some of his predictions are so vague and left to interpretation. You know what I mean? Do I think it's Yellowstone? No. But do I think he could be right? He could be.
It's so easy to, here's the other thing he could have crossed up too. When he says a volcano exploding in the new city, he could have been reaching a bit because Vesuvius was a thing that happened hundreds of years before.
Okay.
And he could have said, well, it could be something like Vesuvius. And could happen when he says new city. He could be thinking of new territory in new colonies because new colonies were being found constantly.
The thing is, too, is I see why everyone's going to Yellowstone because it's Yellowstone, but like there's active volcanoes everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. So it didn't have to necessarily be North America. It could have been one of these new colonies.
Right. And if you think about Hawaii's got active volcanoes, there's islands that when you don't inhabit that have active volcanoes.
Mm-hmm.
There's volcanoes underwater. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So do I think it's Yellowstone? No. Do I think he saw something? Yeah.
Okay. Let's continue with our predictions and our picks. To be precise, we have ourselves a psychic pup by the name of Ziggy. It's time for psychic picks on the program. Ziggy continued right along this week. 2 games over 500 in this week's NFL picks in week 16.
It's amazing. And if you guys, listeners, if you want to see, we have on the social media a video of her and how I do the picks with her.
And actually,
it's 100% her. Even
better, if you go to darknessradioshow.com, go to the Ziggy's Picks tab. There's a link to the video right there.
Yeah.
You can see her picking, I believe it was the Rams game this week that she picked.
Yeah, I sent you 2 of them, but I think it was the Rams when we went with the Monday night game, I think. Yeah. It was a big deal. We made it a big deal because it was the Monday night game. So.
Yep. So she picked the Rams.
Yep.
And yeah, you can see video of Ziggy making the pick. With that said, she went 9-7 this week, 2 games over 500. She is 4 games over 500 in 3 weeks. And she just continues trucking along.
Yeah, which is amazing because she'll lay with me when I watch football, but she doesn't know what's going on. She doesn't know who's hurt. She doesn't know who's out because of this or that. She doesn't know about contract negotiations or playoff or all that. It's literally, I show her the 2 logos and she looks at them. And like I said, if you watch the video, you've seen it, Tim. She looks at each logo like, okay, which one? And then she bites the one she wants.
Yep. Which is pretty remarkable. I mean, she picks better than a lot of people I know.
Yeah, she does. My Papa Bruiser had said that because I showed him some of the videos and I showed him her pass because, I was there watching football with him. And Mrs. Bruiser was going, well, Ziggy, she got this pick. She got, because Mrs. Bruiser gets excited about it too because it's just fun. Mm-hmm. And my dad goes, how does your dog do this? She's psychic. He's like, what? I said, yeah, she's psychic. No, you influence her. So I show him the video. I'm like, no, look, I don't influence her at all. This is all her. Yeah,
and that's why you've put the video online so people can see that she's picking, and you're not just picking stuff out of a hat for her or anything like that, or that you're influencing her. She's actually picking these. In
fact, I have to, for some reason. I have to print out a new logo for the Buffalo Bills because she loves the Buffalo Bills. I don't know why, but she shredded the Buffalo Bills.
Really? Oh, that's interesting.
I don't know if she's a Josh Allen fan or what, but she loves the Buffalo Bills.
Could be. Well, you know what? Josh Allen's a hell of a guy. I mean,
he is.
Between Josh Allen and I don't know if you saw the video. I posted a video of Stephon Diggs and what he did for that young boy who lost his dad to cancer.
Okay.
Did you see that video by chance?
No, I haven't, but I've heard. I mean, Stephon Diggs is just an amazing human being.
Yeah, he did. He actually had he invited the boy and his mom and I think a family friend to the game, and it was one of those snow games. I think it was 2 weeks ago, and he sat him right down front, and then Stefan, before the game, came out and had a custom made pair of shoes made for the boy, and it was him and his dad on the shoes.
Oh, nice.
And gave him the shoes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was so special. It was so cool. And he came up and he signed the shoe. He gave them personally to him, the shoes, and signed the shoes for him, and just basically kind of, rubbed him on the head and had some private words for him. And it was just real cool. Just a real classy act for a kid who was in grief, just to let him know that he was there.
I love when athletes and celebrities do stuff like that. Like I try to, for the quasi celebrity I have, I try to do that as best I can, because you never know what impact you have on people. And if I can have a positive impact, and I've talked to people that, I've had grown men cry to me,
yeah,
because they were having a hard time or whatever, and I did something, whether it's listening to this show, whether it's watching me wrestle, whether it's I was a guest on a different podcast or whatever, and they relate, and it's like, wow, like I did that, and what Stefan Diggs did for that kid and the time of the kid's needs is going to stick with that kid forever. And who knows, it might be a turning point in that kid's life where he was just down and negative because of what happened with his father. And then this happens and it turns the kid's life around.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and Diggs really did something that nobody else could have done at that time. And Stefan Diggs is a hero to that kid. And he really, at a time where he's probably at his lowest, he did something to kind of bring him up, Yeah. And that's just admirable. It really is.
Yep.
So Ziggy's got quite the tough week here in week 17.
She does.
Because, the NFL in these last 2 weeks now is going to have a lot of division rivals coming into the stretch here. You've got a lot of games that mean something.
Yep.
Right. So you got a lot of tough games. Thursday night's game is Cowboys and Titans. Both have something to play for.
Yep.
And it's in Tennessee. There are games. It doesn't look like there are any Saturday games this week, which, boy, did I hear about it from a lot of people about, why are there Saturday games and Sunday games? Why are there just games all over the place? Why are there games on Christmas and Christmas Eve? And
the tradition.
It's just, there's so many games.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what the NFL does on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. They're taking advantage of the holiday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're making money.
That's
just
right.
like the movie theaters do.
Yeah.
Just like restaurants do.
Yeah. But New Year's Eve, that's for college bowl games. They're staying away from New Year's Eve because you got your college games.
And I think that's always been a standing tradition with the NFL and the NCAA.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was surprised they actually they played on Christmas Eve, because I remember a few college bowl games on Christmas Eve. Not a lot. They were the lower. Because now there's so many bowl games. Yeah.
I've always said, I think if they want to get excitement, because there's no more, to me, like college football is exciting to watch, but the bowl games just lose their pizzazz because there's so many.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So if you want to add that excitement again, I think that they should get something like Mr. Clean or Clorox or the Scrubbing Bubbles to sponsor the toilet bowl.
Yeah.
And what you do is you take the last two teams with the losing records and make them play each other.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Whoever loses that game gets the toilet bowl, because they are literally the worst team in college football.
That would be hysterical. I would love that.
You want to see two teams playing their hearts out? These two teams are going to play their hearts out.
Just like you have Mr. Irrelevant in the NFL draft, you should have the toilet bowl for the worst team in college football.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And everybody would tune in because they want to see who the worst team in college football is.
That would be great. I'd watch it.
Excitement back into bowl games. Look at that.
Not only that, but just to see some terrible teams play would be amazing.
Exactly. I just look at this, Tim. I'm revolutionizing everything with Bruiser in the bathroom and the toilet bowl.
You are firmly entrenched in potty humor today. That's great.
I guess I am.
Yeah, you are. So here and again, we'll just break it down quickly here, and then we'll move on to other predictions. So Cardinals, Falcons, Bears, and Lions. Oh my.
Oh.
Talk about the irrelevant bowl there. That's your toilet bowl for NFL games this week. Bears and Lions. And it's in De Toilette this week. So if the Lions don't win that one by 2 touchdowns, can't tell you who would win that one. Jaguars and Texans, another one that's a kind of a stinker. Broncos at the Chiefs. Boy, there's an obvious bowl right there.
That's going to be a slaughter.
Yeah. Dolphins at the Patriots, which you don't know which way that one's going to go because Tua is injured again.
Exactly.
Yeah. The Colts at the Giants, the Saints at the Eagles, Patriots at Buccaneers this week, Browns at Commanders, 49ers are taking on the Raiders, the Jets are at the Seahawks. Oh boy, the border battle, the Vikings at the Packers.
It's going to be a fun one.
That is. That one's going to be a little too close to call. The Rams at the Chargers and the Steelers at the Ravens. Monday night has the Bills at the Bengals, and that one's going to be a tough one too.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a tough week. You know, last week we said that you and I would pick.
Yes. And we did.
And we did. And we might have to start doing psychic hosts. You won the week. You only had 3 losses.
Yeah, but you got to factor in, you and I, we like the sports, so we factor in injuries and
true
the home field advantage and weather and all that.
You had 3 losses. I had 4.
Yeah.
That's out of
I'm just glad I didn't lose to my dog.
Yeah,
right.
I
didn't lose to my dog.
We both didn't lose to Ziggy. I mean, that's I guess that's a highlight. But yeah, I mean, it was a good week for both of us. And we had I think if we would have walked over to the sports book here in town, I think we would have cleaned up.
Made a pretty penny. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, between the 3 of us, we all would have made some money.
That's right. We all would have made money. We all would have went out for kibble and we all would have cleaned up. So there you go. So if you want to keep track of Ziggy's picks, we'll again list Ziggy's picks before kickoff on Thursday. Just go to darknessradioshow.com and look at Ziggy's picks on that tab. Also check out our social media. We'll have the video of one of Ziggy's picks put up there, and we'll point you in the right direction to check out Ziggy's picks. I don't know. Do we dare put up our picks as well?
We could.
For this week? We could do that.
Yeah, we could.
As well. Sure.
And something new to the videos, if people have been watching the videos, Mrs. Bruiser decided that she's going to dress Ziggy up and when she does her picks.
Oh, so
she tried to dress on her today, and she didn't like it. But she got her I showed you the fancy collar she got her. So she got a bathrobe, which she loves.
Oh, okay.
So she might be in a bathrobe when she does her picks. But Mrs. Bruiser wants to dress. If she said if Ziggy's going to be a celebrity, she got dressed like a celebrity.
Woo! All right. So styling and profiling. Ziggy will be on video styling and profiling this week.
Yeah, she sure will.
So there you go. So little wardrobe change for Ziggy on this week's. And as you should. If we can get her a Swami hat by the end of this, we'll do that as well. So there you go. Speaking of picks, I suppose we should do this before we get to Stephen Hawking.
Yeah.
Have you thought of any predictions for 2023?
I have a few.
Okay. Go ahead and hit me with your few.
The first one is a political one.
Okay.
I think that we are going to go into some sort of political turmoil.
Okay.
And I think a third party is going to emerge, and not just like, I'm talking like you go back to what was it, 92, whatever it was, when Ross Perot came in, and it was like, oh my God, there's actually a third candidate that might actually win. Mm-hmm. I predicted that a third party is going to cause a little chaos and turmoil because the left and right are at each other so much. People keep spinning off and wanting to do their own thing. I think they're going to finally unify and create a third party.
A third party.
A viable third party, just like that election. 'Cause that's the only election you can really think back of where the third party was like, oh, he's got a lot of pull and might win this. And I think America's at that point where we're just sick of only having two options.
Okay, that sounds like a good one. What else?
I think the second one is I think where you're going to have some sort of weather catastrophe. Whether it be because the weather patterns are changing. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is look at Florida right now. They are freezing. You know what I mean? Like they don't get this cold.
Yep.
And over the years, the weather's been changing where I think something's going to happen, whether it be a blizzard in Florida or Texas or whatever, but it's going to be something out of the norm for one of these states. And it's going to cause a major, because Minnesota, Wisconsin, the Dakotas, they're all set for blizzards and for snowfalls. Mm-hmm. Down here, you know, it snows an inch and they shut everything down. Yeah. I think because of the way the weather's changing, we're going to have even a more major impact down here that's going to cause some sort of like, you know, they're going to have to call in FEMA and all that, kind of like what they did with hurricanes. But I think it's going to be like a blizzard style. Because the weather is changing. Okay. Ice or blizzard or something like that. And then my last prediction I got is I think that movie theaters are going to go by the wayside. I think this is the year when they finally everybody's because you can stream everything nowadays. Okay. And since the pandemic, you know, movie theaters have been struggling. I think this is the end of the movie theater.
Really?
Yeah. I think it's, and I'm a big movie guy. I grew up in a movie family. We used to go every Christmas Day. We'd go see a movie, and this is the first year in my 44 years of being alive we never did, because we could just stream it at home, and that's what we did. And it made me think. And so when you ask me for these predictions, I'm like, we're not the only family that goes to movie theaters on Christmas Day. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yep. And it's easier and safer, and everything's so crowded nowadays where it's just easier to sit down with your family at home, put up a streaming service, and there's your movie that is in the theaters right now, but you can watch it on your streaming service. Okay. So I think the theaters go the way of the drive-in.
Huh. Okay. Interesting. I've got 3 solid ones and maybe a 4th iffy one. You ready for this? Yeah. In 2023, Vladimir Putin will die of cancer.
Oh, I'll give you that. Yep.
Okay. Will die of cancer. It will throw Russia into a bit of a turmoil. And, I mean, a leader will soon rise within the party, but will not be elected. Will be appointed. It'll be a leader that Putin will have already selected before his death.
Does it end the war?
No.
Okay.
Nope. The war continues. It'll be someone that he's planned, put in place, and the war will continue in Ukraine, although the initiative will fail. Okay. Okay. The second one is that I know people are going to think, well, this is a political bias. It's not. The Democratic Party, even though President Biden is leaning towards running in the next presidential election, the Democratic Party supersedes him and convinces him not to run because they have found a different candidate.
I can see that.
And they put a different candidate out there, yet it is not any of the candidates you would suspect. They have their own candidate, and it is somebody that is quite agreeable to both parties.
Okay.
It's someone that actually is agreeable to both parties and someone that could unify both parties.
And that's what we need right now.
Yeah. So
that's why I think there'd be that third party, and that'd be hey, that's the man or woman we're going with.
Yeah. So I think that's the surprise for politics for 2023. And the third one, I believe in much like with the breakthrough in energy technology this year with laser fusion. I believe in 2023, scientists announced they have overwhelmingly found a cure for cancer and will release a cancer drug within the next 5 years that will cure cancer.
Okay.
I think they'll found the gene that has unlocked it that will cure it.
Okay.
I think those three things will happen. Now, I could be swinging wild, but I think those are the three. I
do have a fourth one too. Now that you're just talking, but
sure.
You can go ahead.
Go ahead. No. Give me your fourth one.
I think a new species of animal is going to be discovered.
Really?
Yeah, whether it be of the cryptozoological standpoint or it's just bottom of the ocean, something comes up, and oh my god, I think there's going to be a new species.
Really?
Yeah. I think they're gonna discover a new species that we've never seen before, or we've seen and mistaken for something else.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I would say
will it be Bigfoot? No, but it'll be something.
I would say the fourth one would be there's more activity in the Middle East with a terrorist group.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's serious, not just like a little skirmish. This is like serious, like involved in another war.
And if you hear lately, all the power grids have been being attacked in different states. So,
and I would tend to think it's the Taliban.
Yeah,
it's the Taliban rising up, not Al Qaeda, but the Taliban,
who's always been a pain in America's side.
Yeah. So I would say they're ramped up and they're ready to go. So
yeah,
I would say that'd be the other part of 2023. So
okay,
so that would be it. Those would be my predictions.
We'll see what happens in 2023.
Yeah, we'll see what happens in 2023. Meanwhile, from beyond the grave. No, that's not what I was looking for. That's the wrong button. You ever have one of those days where you go to
listeners? He is dead. Stephen Hawking really is dead.
Yes, he is.
Not mean that's a joke.
Right. That's not the one I was looking for. It was this one I was looking for. I didn't mean to say from beyond the grave, but Meanwhile, from beyond the grave, Stephen Hawking believed that humans could improve their genes with technology, but feared that superhumans would likely contribute to the destruction of our planet. No shit, Sherlock. Hawking was quite eloquent when he spoke about the future of mankind. For example, that people would not be able to live long on planet Earth. We would have to migrate to other habitable planets in order to save our species. Moreover, our planet was not located at a stable point. One day it will disappear along with the sun. Oh God, I hope that's not soon. Therefore, we must think about how we can save our future generations. Here we go. Here are the points that Stephen Hawking believed were coming soon. Not to a theater near you either. People will have to leave the Earth eventually. Stephen Hawking demanded that people start looking for new worlds to settle or resettle. According to his theories, humanity will eventually fall victim to global extinction caused by an asteroid. He believed that one day our planet would disappear due to a collision with an asteroid, having understood many other possible threats such as climate change, artificial intelligence, viruses, and nuclear war. So he wanted us to find planets to save humanity. Artificial intelligence was his second. See? Even Stephen Hawking believed they were going to take us over. Even he had this song right here playing in the background in his chair. Because he too feared artificial intelligence.
Well, that's because he was part robot by the time he died.
Well, I mean, he was, yeah.
He's like, hey, I know the power of this stuff, so I'm not going to become an evil genius, which I could be.
True. Stephen Hawking feared that machines would one day take over the world. He was afraid that the development of artificial intelligence would lead to the emergence of a new form of life that would suppress humans.
And he's absolutely right.
And he's right. So he asked people to be very careful with AI and not let it make decisions, which we seem to be doing.
Oops, we just had a chess AI attack a child.
Yeah, that's true. The development of full artificial intelligence could spell the end of the human race, he said in a 2014 interview with the BBC, which if you think about it, wasn't that long ago. It was only 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would take off on its own and redesign itself at an ever-increasing rate. Humans, who are limited by low biological evolution, couldn't compete and would be superseded. That was the quote by Hawking. Climate change. Stephen Hawking considered global warming one of the main threats to life on Earth. Hawking warned of a so-called tipping point where the global warming would be unstoppable. He said that humans would not be able to survive on the planet after its tipping point, which, if you believe a lot of people, is coming soon, if not already here. Arrival of extraterrestrial alien civilizations. Boy, was Stephen Hawking afraid of this. To the point where he was running around and looking for hidey holes.
He wasn't running.
Well, I mean, he was wheeling. Stephen Hawking believed that aliens could harm humanity. He believed that they would cause destruction on the planet Earth, destroying humanity. Some of his words make sense because we have no idea what kind of creatures live in space or what they have in mind. Future generations will have to face them, as astronomers can't wait to get in touch with extraterrestrial beings. Such advanced aliens would perhaps become nomads, looking to conquer and colonize whatever planets they could reach, he said. Who knows what limits would be? And in the 2016 documentary, Stephen Hawking's Favorite Places, Hawking reiterated his views. Meeting an advanced civilization could be like Native Americans encountering Columbus. That didn't turn out so well.
No, that turned out horrible.
And those were Hawking's words. Birth of superhumans. Stephen Hawking believed that in the future, people will improve their genetics by developing appropriate technologies. He was afraid that the appearance of superhumans would destroy the Earth. Stephen Hawking believed that in the future, they would introduce laws prohibiting genetic engineering using humans, but some people would not be able to resist the temptation to improve human qualities, such as memory, disease resistance, and longevity. I don't know. What do you think, Bruiser, about that last one? Would you be able to resist becoming a superhuman?
No, I wouldn't. I'd become a superhuman. I would. If it meant that I'm not in the pain that I'm in right now,
yeah,
I'd do it.
I think I'd have to turn that corner too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you're faced with that's where your morals come in. Do you become a supervillain or you can become a superhero? Because if you look at it, the fine line between a superhero and a supervillain, there's a fine line between Batman and the Joker.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that fine line is Batman doesn't kill.
True.
So we would be faced with that if we chose, like, hey, we can replace your body with adamantium like Wolverine, Oh, cool. I can't break bones. Like, do I use this for good or do I use this for evil? Do I just live my life like I do? And I think there's a lot of people out there that might, Yeah,
there's a lot of people who get drunk with power and, and then they let it take over and then they say, well, I was entitled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I do think, yes, I 100% would take that opportunity just to get out of the pain that I'm in.
I hear you. On that one. I'm right there with you.
Like, I don't want to live forever, but I still don't want to die right now.
It's a slippery slope, It
is.
I mean, if they said to you, okay, we can add another 100 years to your life, you take it?
See, yes, I would.
Yeah, I do in a minute.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah. It's another 100 years. That's a long time.
Yeah,
but it's 100 quality years. That's what they tell you. If they say we can add 100 years to your life, but they're 100 quality years.
Yeah, but then that means you got to give everyone I care about 100 years too, because they're part of my quality of life.
True. But that technology is there, so you know they can.
Yeah, but what if one of the people say no?
That's not on you.
But you see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
That's the conundrum you're faced with.
True. Very true.
That's like with the living forever, you know? What's that famous Queen song? Who wants to live forever? Because you're constantly seeing your loved ones pass.
True. But in that 100 years, you could develop enough wealth to hand down to 10 generations.
That's true too.
And you could set up your family for all of eternity.
That's true too.
Yeah.
Or you go the evil route and just try to take over the world for the next 100 years.
I could vanquish my enemies forever. Yeah, I mean, they're interesting discussions. That's for sure. That's for sure.
I think he's right, though, that if people find out how to do that, it's going to be, because you're going to have villains. You're going to. Look at now, like, you put two kids in a room with a piece of chocolate cake. So you can't eat the piece of chocolate cake, but no one's watching you. One of them is going to eat the piece of chocolate cake.
True.
And now does the other one tell on them, or do they? No, we don't know. You know what I mean? Like, it's a classic thing.
Mm-hmm.
Out of 10 kids, at least a quarter of them are going to eat the chocolate cake.
Yeah. Oh, at least, if not half.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then, you know, who's going to be honest out of that and admit that either they did or somebody's going to tell and say, well, so-and-so did.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's where the conundrum
classic experiment, and that's what this is.
Yeah, social experiment. Exactly.
Yep.
Speaking of AI and extending things, AI service with a robotic smile. Uber has unleashed a fleet of self-driving food delivery machines in Miami days after the firm blocked pay increases for workers in New York City.
Yeah, no, not getting that. I don't want the Uber to drive through my front door and deliver my food.
Kaboom! We are here to give you your food.
Or I don't want to be kidnapped because I have to go out and get in to get the food out of the car.
Come with me if you want to eat.
Come with me if you want good food.
Uber may be looking to replace some human drivers with robots after facing court battles from workers seeking pay raises. It's come to this. The ride-hailing giant is employing self-driving robots to deliver food items for its Uber Eats from select merchants in Miami, Florida, and is set to expand into more cities next year. The sidewalk-traveling six-wheeled robots are from Kartkin, which former Google engineers founded, and features a trunk capable of carrying up to 24 pounds of cargo.
Who's ordering 24 pounds of food?
I've got your food in my trunk.
Hello, Dave. Go in my trunk, Dave. There's delicious food in the trunk, Dave. Reach in a little closer, Dave. Never mind the trunk closing on you, Dave. Yes, you are my prisoner now, Dave, but you have food, so you will survive.
The partnership, announced on Thursday, comes 2 days after a Manhattan judge granted Uber's bid to temporarily block a pay hike for rideshare drivers from going into effect next week. The pay raise would have increased by 23.93% per mile. Uber is said to take about 25% commission from drivers. So really, it wasn't all that much money.
No. Now you're putting humans at risk.
Yep.
Way to go, Uber.
Yeah. Regardless, robotic rides appear to be the way of the future, as many companies are looking to use robo-taxis and delivery bots. Uber has been training robots since May, first unleashing technologies made by Serve Robotics in Los Angeles, San Diego, and Dubai. Note the ride-hailing giant has teamed up with Kartkin, which used its robots on the campus of Ohio State University in June. Kartkin's robots navigate pavements, crosswalks, and Pedialyte. I don't know why that came out that way. Pedestrian.
They gotta replenish those electrolytes, man.
Mm-hmm. It's just my inner brain talking to me. And pedestrian paths within the campus area without human guidance. The robots will use Karkin's AI and camera-based navigation and mapping technology, which the company developed for small autonomous vehicles to operate safely around pedestrians. Human override remains an option if necessary. For instance, when a path is blocked, guaranteeing reliable operation and minimizing delivery delays. Karkin's robots operate up to 3 miles per hour and handle various weather conditions, including rain and snow. I'd like to see it operate up in, like, say, Estes Park, where there's, giant animals that won't let you by.
Hey, Yogi. Hey, Boo Boo. Let's get this picnic basket.
Where you've got giant moose.
The moose is just playing with it.
Yeah, where the moose wants to put its head down and ram through the robot.
Yeah. You text Uber, hey, I ordered a Big Mac 3 hours ago. Where's your robot?
Up in a tree. Things like that.
Well, for some reason, it's in Saskatchewan right now. We don't know why.
Yeah. Funny. The delivery robots will first transport items in the Dadeland area of Miami-Dade County and then expand to other cities in 2023. Christian Birch, co-founder and CEO of Karkin, said in a statement, "We are excited about how this partnership with Uber will bring advantages to robotics to food delivery and ultimately create more connected communities. Together, we have the opportunity to reduce traffic congestion, help local merchants to increase delivery capacity, and bring consumers fast, convenient, and emission-free deliveries." The partnership could be a way to weed out human drivers as Uber is starting to feel pressure from officials and its workers to increase pay rates. However, the pressure has been alleviated after Manhattan Supreme Court Justice Arthur Engoron granted an order to block the raise, but arguments are set to be heard in a cause on January 31st. Uber argues that if it were to increase by 7.42% per minute and 23.93% per mile, it would have to pay out up to $23 million more per month and raise fares by 10%. TLC Commissioner David Doe said in a statement, "We are disappointed for the tens of thousands of drivers who are once again being made to bear the rising costs of inflation all on their own with no help from the multi-billion-dollar company they work under. We will aggressively defend this important standard for our drivers." Uber spokesperson Freddie Goldstein said, "Drivers do critical work and deserve to be paid fairly, but rates should be calculated in a way that is transparent, consistent, and predictable, and not be tortured by AI." So there you go.
I won't get in a self-driving car. Nope. Don't trust it.
Nope. Just a couple of stories left today on Supernatural News. A DNA test is exposing new evidence about the Loch Ness Monster.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We finally got Nessie's DNA, huh?
Not quite.
Okay.
Yet.
Not quite. Okay.
I'll give you the short version of this story. There's a professor out there who is hoping to get Nessie's DNA.
Oh, okay.
So he's conducting experiments.
Is he doing a 23andMe and other lizards?
Yes, that's what he's doing. He's basically got the old Ancestry kit out, and he's
just finding anything that could possibly relate it and just cheek swabbing everything.
Yes, he's cheek swabbing every animal in the loch and just seeing if they all cross-reference each other. No, I don't know. So is the Loch Ness Monster real? That's the question that we've wanted to answer for years. And every so often, we get an inch closer to discovering the truth with this centuries-old mystery. One professor was so fascinated by the myth that he was determined to expose what secrets were lurking beneath the eerie waters. And to say he made a stunning revelation would be an understatement. The professor we're talking about is a professor by the last name of Gemmell. As a geneticist and self-described monster hunter, Professor Neil Gemmell wanted answers. He no doubt heard about the sightings, which actually started hundreds of years ago, back in 656 AD to be precise. In the first record, a man named Saint Columba supposedly prevented the beast from making a vicious attack. And from that moment on, more and more eyewitnesses' accounts of the creature have emerged. One man named George Spicer reported seeing a dragon-like creature with webbed feet. And in 1933, the Inverness Courier published a terrifying account of a couple named Aldi and John McKay who'd been driving along Loch Ness in the April of that year. And it's enough to send shivers up your spine. According to the report, they saw the creature disport itself, rolling and plunging for fully a minute, its body resembling that of a whale, and the water cascading and churning like a simmering cauldron. Soon, however, it disappeared in a boiling mass of foam. After this hits the headlines, local interest in the supported underwater beast reaches a new peak. Tourism in the area increased, and in 1934, a vacationing man was looking out at the loch, and he saw something odd. So he grabbed his camera. This became the surgeon's photograph, as we know it.
Okay.
Which captured a blurry, long-necked creature peeking out of the water. And suddenly, Nessie's long neck and bumpy back was famous worldwide. This became the definitive Nessie sighting, but it also sparked some years of controversy. The scientific community has always rested on the existence of the Loch Ness Monster due to lack of evidence, and it wasn't long after the surgeon's photo was published that it was exposed as a hoax. Obviously, this was a huge blow to enthusiasts everywhere. You see, back then, photographic evidence was really the only way to provide proof that something had happened. All believers had to go on were local tales and childish drawings. Thankfully, times had changed, and Professor Gemmell was able to use DNA to get closer to finding the truth. Leading a team from New Zealand's University of Otago, Gemmell took water samples from 3 different depths of the lake. Each sample contained DNA that Neil had hoped would shed some light on the murky mystery, DNA that was comprised of seemingly normal materials. Now, Gemmell's team sent the DNA samples, which reportedly contained skin, scales, feathers, fur, and fecal matter, say that 10 times fast, to labs in Australia, New Zealand, Denmark, and France. The professor's investigation couldn't have come at a better time, as the number of Nessie sightings was higher than it had been for years. Sightings are now at a level that was being recorded in the 1990s, said Gary Campbell, recorder of the official Loch Ness Monster Sightings Register. The internet has meant that Loch has never been more watched and from anywhere else in the world. I think you can blame the internet for that, actually.
Oh, definitely. 100%.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
So the Scottish economy rakes in actually millions a year thanks to Nessie, with so many people intent on uncovering the Loch's secret themselves. In 2021 alone, for instance, there have already been 11 people claiming to have seen the Loch Ness Monster with their own eyes. In June of 2021, one man reported seeing a hump come up going against the waves looking like a turtle's back, black in color with a green tinge to it. And the sightings have even been known to convert non-believers. Richard Cobb's comment from 2019 said, "I never believed in Nessie, but now I'm not so sure. What I saw was just weird. There was something in there for sure." And in June of that year, a boat skipper logged a large creature on his sonar close to one of Nessie's favorite lairs. It was a 25-foot-long object, definitely not your average fish. It was exceptionally big, he went on to say. "I would like to think it was Nessie," he also said. There have been some false calls in there as well, Bruiser.
Whale dicks.
Exactly, whale dicks. Hundreds of Nessie sightings have been debunked as otters, swans, floating debris, and as Bruiser so kindly says, whale dicks. And while Gemmell hoped that the results from his investigation will be undeniable, he knows how staunchly some people believe in even the most outlandish of theories. Whale dicks. big fish is the other question, or whale dicks? Some people think that Nessie is really just an enormous catfish or eel, while others believe it to be large Greenland sharks. One of the more eccentric beliefs is that the monster is a slightly evolved plesiosaur that somehow avoided extinction.
Or a very well-endowed whale.
There you go. One thing's for sure, though, fans of the mystery are still craving answers. On Facebook, 18,000 people signed up to storm Loch Ness in September of 2019. They hoped enough people in Loch Ness will get the creature to resurface so they can, as the group puts it, find that big boy.
What are they all just going to sit on the edge of the lock and just start screaming into it, hoping he gets annoyed and pops up and goes, "Get off my lawn. Just get off my lawn."
Raise that big whale dick. I guess, yeah. So how do we stay rational in this whole thing? Well, it doesn't look like the event has gone ahead just yet, perhaps in part as a result of Gemmel's enlightening findings. Hard for me to say 10 times fast. Before the start of the study, Gemmel told The Guardian, while the prospect of looking for evidence of the Loch Ness Monster is the hook to this project, there is an extraordinary amount of new knowledge that we will gain from the work about organisms that inhabit Loch Ness, and he had no doubt that his team will learn something new about the freshwater lake. More specifically, Gemmel believed that he and his research team would uncover new species, particularly clusters of Loch Ness-based bacteria, and although a seemingly small discovery, this information would show how invasive newer species have proven to be for the loch. But as we know, it wouldn't necessarily be the biggest draw to the outside world, because, of course, there was also the potential for solving the mystery of how the Loch Ness Monster— that didn't come out right, but it somehow is right. That wasn't Gemmel's purpose in performing the research, but by the time the study concluded, he did have his own theory as to which species the creature truly belonged to, and he shared this in September of 2019. By that time, Gemmel and his team had completed their monumental research. Firstly, they visited Loch Ness for 2 weeks and gathered the numerous water samples that they needed. Then they analyzed the liquid to discern the genetic material contained within. Yet some of their subsequent findings didn't shock anyone, as most of the Loch Ness ecosystem is comprised of small creatures. Does that shock you that it was comprised of small creatures?
No, it doesn't shock me at all.
No? It doesn't shock me either, to be honest.
Like, it's not a huge lock.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Gemmel and his team also found DNA from, get this, humans, pigs, sticklebacks, and deer. Isn't sticklebacks a band from Canada?
Well, no, that's the cover band.
Oh, okay.
They cover Nickelback.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yet what they didn't find was evidence of any monster, at least not in the way Nessie has been described in the past. So it seemed that the monster was not a seal or an elephant or a catfish. So we've eliminated that. Now, here's what they think it may be. Instead, Gemmel and his researchers came up with a new explanation that they could back up with DNA evidence. Yet the team claimed that those who'd seen supposedly a monster in the past could have actually seen a giant eel. The species has left its traces in the water's genetic material.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Which would make sense, because an eel coming out of the water looks like a whale dick.
Yes. So how large is large? Well, during a 2019 press conference at the Loch Ness Center, Gemmel explained to reporters it is possible that there are very large eels, depending on how big you think large is. Oh, God, we've all heard this talk at one time or another, haven't we? Well, it depends on how big you think large is, honey. I'm
not that large. Oh, honey, you're perfect. You're perfect.
You're perfect for me. Yes, size queen. So his speculative theory provides another possible explanation for sightings of the monster since 1933. But he emphasized that no giant eels had ever been caught and that the record weight for an eel caught in Europe currently stands at around 12 pounds. That doesn't seem like a big eel, does it?
No, it doesn't.
No.
12-pound eel? No.
Yeah, not that big. Seriously speaking, though, Gemmell elaborated on the theory of the eels and how they could potentially grow to such a size. He explained the notion is that these eels would normally migrate to reproduce, but they, for whatever reason, don't. And they continue to grow to a very large size, foregoing reproduction for growth. Now, let me ask you this, Bruiser. I'm going to show you a picture here. Let's just say, for example, that this 12-pound eel grew to about 100 pounds. Okay. And showed you this face. Would that scare the shit out of you?
Oh, yeah. It scares the shit out of me now.
That's one scary face.
I think I dated a girl that looked like that.
Dear God, how'd you get through it?
Alcohol?
I guess. That's some strong alcohol. So there was lots of eel DNA in the water in Loch Ness. Interestingly, Gemmell and his team found a high quantity of eel DNA in the waters of Loch Ness. And the study author joked about the source of that much genetic material. He said, "We don't know if the eel DNA we are detecting is from a gigantic eel or just many small eels." No dinosaurs, however. Critically, the scientists' research could rule out some of the other long-standing theories about the Loch Ness Monster. Gemmell could definitely rule out the dinosaur theory, for one. The study leader explained, "Is there a plesiosaur in Loch Ness? No. There is absolutely no evidence of any reptilian sequences, so I think we can be fairly sure that there is probably not a giant scaly reptile swimming around in Loch Ness, so no plesiosaurs."
Well, it makes sense about eels, too, because it's so elusive. Eels burrow themselves into the seabed. They hide in like little nooks and crannies, which wouldn't be picked up on sonar.
Very true. Very true. It's not all good news, according to Gemmell. Gemmell did admit that the study had a few shortcomings. You see, the DNA testing had failed to detect seals or otters, both of which live in Loch Ness.
Okay. Well, that's kind of a big red flag.
That is. In other areas, though, the results came back with stunning clarity. Gemmell said, "We may have missed things, but we found all the species we know are residents in Loch Ness in respect to fish." Okay.
All right.
There's the header of "can't prove a negative." Well, the University of Otago geneticist pointed out how, in some respects, his search for the monster had ended like the others. He said more and more studies providing more and more negative evidence cast more and more doubt on the possibility, but we can't prove a negative. In other words, I don't know.
It's a very scientific way of going, I have no idea.
Yeah, it's charming, really. But Gemmell brushed off the notion that his DNA tests had effectively ended the search for Nessie. Instead, he countered, there's still some level of uncertainty there, so there is still opportunity for people to believe in monsters. Is it front page news? I don't know, but we've captured some imaginations. One man who probably is unconvinced that the monster was just a big eel is George Edwards. For decades, George has shuttled tourists across the murky waters, all of them hoping to see the elusive beast. But one afternoon, the day he waited his entire career for finally arrived. The sea captain rushed for his camera and snapped a single photo that changed his life. "I believe in these creatures," maintained George. "Far too many people have been seeing them for far too long." See, George is far from the first explorer to have witnessed something suspicious out on Loch Ness. The first recorded encounter dates all the way back to the year 565 when a man named St. Columbia was attacked by a water beast while swimming in Loch Ness. But the next supposed sighting wouldn't come for hundreds of years. Starting in the late 1800s, sightings of a monster began to increase. Nessie was described as a crocodile or alligator-like creature. But could all those encounters just have been non-mythical creatures instead? Well, some experts think so. It's easy to spot eels in the British Isles, including the supersized conger eel. They can grow up to be an impressive 10 feet long. They're slinky enough to make their way into unlikely waters like Loch Ness, but another fish might actually be the culprit there. Well, they're not reptiles. Sturgeons might have a similarly scaly appearance. They look somewhat like sharks, only pointier. And the question is, could our friend George have simply spotted a giant sturgeon at that point? The sailor insisted this was no common sea creature. George takes tourists out with him on his boat, Nessie Hunter 4, appropriately named. George tells stories of the beast to his riders, who are given an exclusive chance at a sighting. And the question remains, is this sailor simply a businessman in disguise? Well, all these people can't be telling lies, says George. And the fact that the reports stretch over so many years means that there can't be just one of them. I'm convinced that there are several monsters in a single body of water that have never been officially discovered, he said. What's his explanation of that? Well, some people believe that Loch Ness creatures could be the descendants of plesiosaurs, which we've already kind of gone over that.
Yep.
As far as Mr. Gemmel is concerned, or Professor Gemmel, an underwater reptile from millions of years ago with a taste for blood, a whole species of Nessies. Yep, that's what the skipper's explanation is. He recounted the harrowing ordeal behind the photo he snapped. I was just about to return to Temple Pier, and I went to the back of the boat, which was facing the pier, and that's when I saw it. What did George see? Well, according to him, it was a dark gray figure and was moving up the loch towards Urquhart Castle, and the sailor began to chase it. In a span of 5 to 10 minutes, George managed to only get a single photo of the elusive creature before it disappeared. I hung around for a good half an hour and used the deep scanning sonar to try and pick it up. I'm afraid I had no luck at all. No luck, huh? Seems pretty fishy. See what I did there, Bruiser? See what I did? From George's story, there's other stories there. There's one of Steve Feltham who talks about his picture that he snapped of Nessie in the loch, Lessie in the knock. Listen to me, I'm getting punched.
That's an album right there.
Lessie in the knock. I'm getting punch drunk with stories of Nessie here. But we return back to essentially what our professor in the beginning of the story went on to say, and that's this. And it's basically simple. It's that Professor Gemmel, when he's asked whether the monster exists or not, he said in 2018 that he used his undying curiosity to help launch a study into Loch Ness. He wanted to use DNA testing to identify the many species that dwell beneath the water. And in doing so, he might perhaps reveal the truth about the Loch Ness monster too. Whether he's done that or not, he's not quite sure, but he's going to keep searching.
Yeah.
So there you go. And that's the truth behind the Loch Ness monster.
I can see it being an eel. Like I said, eels are very elusive creatures,
Mm-hmm.
And they burrow. So like that guy saw an eel, he did the sonar, it got into an underwater cave, can't see it.
True. True. Very true. I tell you what, I'm going to hold on to this story of our favorite history stories of 2022 until next week.
Okay.
And we'll go to our last story for the week. This one, ladies and gentlemen who are looking to lose weight in 2023.
Okay.
I have found your solution.
I'm curious to hear what it is. I'm not looking to lose weight, but I'm curious to see what it is.
I'm looking to drop a few pounds. I have this congestive heart failure thing going on.
Yeah.
I've got a few issues with the ticker.
Yeah.
Looking to drop a few pounds, get a little weight off the heart, live a little longer.
Yeah.
So I came across this story, Bruiser, and I thought to myself, you know what, Timmy? I think I found the way to do it. And by God, it comes through God.
Of course it does. Of course.
Holy liposuction. A pastor has miraculously shrunk a woman's waist during a live event.
Really? So he just put his hand on her tummy and there went all the cellulite.
Well, let's find out together,
yeah,
Bruiser.
Yeah.
It's a miracle, by God. It's a miracle. No more dieting, Bruiser. No more protein shakes. No more eating bland foods.
I'm not on board with this till I find out how he gets the fat out of me. If he's inserting anything into me, I'm out.
Well, let's find out.
Yeah.
A Christian pastor has come under fire for claiming to miraculously shrink a woman's waist by 2 sizes, Bruiser.
2
sizes. Through prayer during a live sermon. There's a controversial video doing the rounds on Latin Twitter. Oh, by the way, you can get an excellent beat off of Latin Twitter. I don't know if you know that or not. It shows a Christian pastor speaking to an audience and asking an overweight lady to join him on stage. When a brave young woman decides to honor his request, the pastor asks her if she's a true believer, then tells her that for those who truly believe, anything is possible. Of course, Bruiser, that's the way this all works.
Oh, yeah.
That's right, man.
You gotta believe.
You put that belief out there and the pounds just melt off.
That's right.
Hallelujah.
They go away.
Hallelujah. Holla back.
Hallelujah.
I believe it was Master P that used to say that. Hallelujah. Holla back. Yep.
No, he used to say, na
na na na. I think that's how the Lord answers us, right?
Lord, hear my prayers.
Na 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 na. The pastor tells the woman to raise her hands and asks God to shrink her waist by 2 sizes. Oh, I should be able to drop a good 100 pounds within 3 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me try it real quick. Ready? Lord, shrink my waist 2 sizes, I ask thee. Na 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 na. Did it work?
I can't see your waist, so I'm going to say yeah.
Okay, good. All right. I can feel it.
Yeah.
A woman is called to touch the woman's abdomen. Ooh, it's girl-on-girl action at the church.
Here we go. Okay.
I like this church already.
Yeah, here we go.
A little woman-on-woman action. And the pastor orders 2 sizes off the woman's waist, declaring a miracle. Hallelujah.
Give me 2 sizes. Hallelujah.
I said, give me 1. Boom. Give me 2. Boom, boom. It's like a James Brown thing.
Yeah.
Hit me on a 1. Hit me on a 2. Give me 2 sizes off the waist. Give it 3.
Why did she settle for just 2?
I blew something out of my throat on that deal.
I'm curious why she's settled for 2. Like, if it worked, no, give me more.
Give me 3.
Give me 6 sizes.
Give me 6.
As if commanding fat off a person's waist wasn't impressive enough, Bruiser, the pastor can be heard raising the stakes.
Oh, here it goes. Okay.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
By assuring her that following the miracle, people won't be able to recognize her by the end of the year. And she'll also, I'm not done yet.
Yeah.
And she'll also find a new, better job. Booyah.
Boom. Boom. Get a new job.
It's like that.
She now has an OnlyFans page.
Yeah, shaking it in the camera, baby.
She dropped those 2 sizes and went, I'm going to show it to everybody.
You know what? Not only should she drop those 2 sizes, she dropped about 240 pounds at home.
He's
know what
gone.
I'm saying?
He's gone.
You know he is, baby.
Lord told me to lose some weight, so get out of my life.
I dropped 240 pounds and I gained about $500,000 at home. You notice. Following a round of applause from the audience, the pastor calls a woman to check the subject's pants. Why couldn't it have been me? And lo and behold, they seem looser than before. Oh, looser than before?
That's because she untied the drawstring. But anyways, let's keep going.
Okay. Asked to confirm that her waist did in fact shrink, the woman says that her pants used to fit. And even shows the audience how looser the jeans are following the miracle.
So that's how they get the panties to drop in that church, huh?
That's right. The pastor, of course, basks in the applause of his congregation.
Of course.
As you can imagine, Twitter has been having a field day with this clip. One account that shared the footage declared, "The end of gyms and diets." While other Twitter users asked if the good pastor could help them shed a bit more than 2 pant sizes. Those who didn't the quote is, "Those who didn't find the video funny criticized the Christian pastor for using tricks to declare a miracle and described his theatrics as shameful." Interestingly, the kind of miracle is apparently quite popular among pastors, and there are several clips of several such acts being performed in front of gullible believers on the internet. In the past, we've seen African pastors sinking to abysmal levels of trickery to fool people into believing they were capable of miracles, but apparently things are not much better anywhere else. So there you go.
Goes right along the lines when they could remove cancerous tumors and it was just sleight of hand.
That's just too bad.
Yeah.
I was looking forward to going to this church over the weekend.
I'm going to stick to the gym.
Dropping me a couple of pounds.
I'll pray to God while I'm on the treadmill. Please let me get one more mile. One more. I just need to get one more. Please.
Just let me get 10 more pounds. Oh, please let me get 10 more pounds. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. I know. I anytime I have to do any exercise, I'm praying to God.
Me too.
I'm like, I just can't do this anymore. Please, God, please.
So let me get there, please. I just want to make my goal, please.
That's about the only praying you can do, buddy. Yeah. So there you go. That's supernatural news for this week.
Woohoo.
Woohoo. Made it through another supernatural news. Got to thank Snoop on the shelf. There he is.
Look for Bruiser in your bathroom.
Look for Bruiser in your bathroom. Coming soon. He either smells like stale beer or gasoline.
Or root beer.
Or root beer. He'll be coming to, I guess, the darknessradioshow.com shop. We'll be selling them there. The residuals will just be rolling in for you, Bruiser.
I can't wait.
Anytime. I can just see people going, I want my bathroom to smell like gasoline. It'll get my girl off the toilet soon.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Smells better than poo.
It smells better than poo.
That's the tagline.
It smells
Bruiser
better
in the
than
bathroom.
poo.
It smells better than poo.
What do you think about that, Snoop? Snoop on a stoop.
For shizzle, for shizzle, for shizzle.
For shizzle, for shizzle. Coming up tomorrow on the show, Les Velez will join us. He is a registered member of MUFON and a UFO expert. We'll be talking UAPs, UFOs, and all things strangeness in the sky.
Oh, you can have him cast the next movie for...
yeah, we'll ask him who he wants for Betty and Barney Hill.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll be directing it.
It could work. It would work.
I don't know.
Who knows?
So that's on tomorrow's show.
Okay.
Right here on Darkness Radio. I was going to say your next underwater needlepoint gig isn't until late January, right?
Late January. Yep. Taking some time off to heal. Going to go talk to a surgeon about this hip. Start getting that fixed.
Where are you in late January?
I'm in Winston-Salem. I'm actually going to be wrestling Jerry the King Lawler.
Oh, all right.
January 21st, I believe it is. I have to look.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Oh, yeah. Nice, easy. Beat up a king.
You're going to beat up a king. Everybody's out there is like, no. So you're going to beat up a king. I have a date for my heart surgery. It's going to be February 17th.
There you go.
I'm going to celebrate Valentine's Day by repairing my broken heart.
We're both looking to get healthy.
Yep, getting healthy in the new year. Yeah. So that's a little update on us, I guess. So
January 21st is the show.
Right on.
Very, very excited.
If you go to our events page, I believe that is listed on our events page. So if you're and you're wrestling in is that in Tennessee?
No, it's in North Carolina.
North Carolina. Okay, so
yep.
If you're in the North Carolina area, look to our events page at darknessradioshow.com. You can get tickets.
It's going to be an amazing show, too, because they're having a War Games match. 2-ring, steel cage, War Games.
Wow.
Yeah, I was hoping to be in that, but they're like, nope, we want you to be up the king. I'm like, okay, I'll beat him up.
That's the 21st. I'm trying to think, because I think I'm going to Florida on the 25th.
Hey, you can swing by.
I was going to say, I might be able to swing by for that deal.
Yeah.
That'd be something.
Huh.
All right. Huh. Look at that.
Get you some good North Carolina barbecue.
Oh, we never really got to the food part of the show, did we?
No, we didn't. That'll have to be next week.
Would you, by the way, before we leave
Cooking
people...
with Cruiser and Bruiser.
Cooking with the Cruiser and the Bruiser. Do you have anything good over the weekend or over the Christmas weekend?
I was traveling so much that it was snacks here or there, but I did have, my dad made an amazing, I'm normally not a ham guy. Yeah. Like I like ham, but I'm not like, oh, this is, but my dad made the best ham for Christmas.
Really?
And he made homemade rolls and baked them himself. Yeah. I don't know what he did. Oh, they were so delicious.
Really?
Mm. Yeah. I couldn't stop eating it. And I'm not a ham guy. I don't mind it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
But there was something that he did to it, and it was one of the most delicious things I've had. I even told him, I said, what'd you do to it? Did you put crack in here? What's going on? He's like, nope. Just cooked it with love. That's what he said.
Really?
Yeah.
I had steak and chicken on Christmas Eve. I ate really, really healthy.
I didn't. Well, I ate as healthy as I could in airports.
Yeah, I mean, for as healthy as you can eat in airports.
Yeah.
And steamed broccoli. It was unusual, but
I love steamed broccoli.
Yeah.
I love it.
The kid's gotta watch himself here until heart surgery. So
yeah, you can get through it.
Yeah. So
we're all behind you, Cruiser.
Thank you. So that's but that'll do it. That was Eating with the Cruiser and the Bruiser and the program. So, but we'll see you tomorrow on the best in paranormal podcasting for the Beer City Bruiser over there. I'm the Cruiser, Timmy D. Again, thank you so much for joining us this week. We want to thank Microdose Gummies for sponsoring the show this week. I want to thank HelloFresh, who's going to be on next week.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, they got boxes coming out to us this next week, Bruiser.
I can't wait.
I know. Speaking of food,
such good food.
I know. Speaking of good food, they got boxes coming out to us. So HelloFresh is going to be with us next week. We want to thank all of our sponsors. By the way, if you're interested in sponsoring the show, get a hold of our representatives at Audio Boom. You can do that by going to our website, darknessradioshow.com. We've got a little link on how you can, if you're interested, sponsor us at Audio Boom, or email me, tim@darknessradio.com. I'll let you know how you can advertise with us on this show. We'd love to have you on as a sponsor. We treat you real well. Yes. Yeah, we love it if you'd like to advertise with us. And we appreciate you as a listener as well. So thank you for listening to Darkness Radio. We appreciate you as our listener as well. So
yes, we do.
Yeah, we love you guys. We appreciate you, and thank you so much for listening today. We'll join us again tomorrow for Les Velez and talking UFOs and UAPs tomorrow right here on the Best in Paranormal Podcasting. For Beer City Bruiser, I'm Tim Dennis. We'll see you tomorrow for Darkness Radio.